Hello, everybody, and welcome to some Mass Effect 2174. I think it's session 5 right now. Oh, yay, the Obsidian portal started working again, Rick. Woohoo!
Yay.
Yeah. Sorry, a little technical difficulty, as always, right? All right, so how's everybody's week going so far? Halfway through it?
Pretty good, actually.
Yeah? Good, good.
I got a code for Battletech, so I can make more videos and save money.
Nice.
I got hacked by a Russian.
Really?
Yeah, Google was like, someone in Russia tried to access your account. You're not in Russia?
Did it resolve itself? Are you good? Oh, he left. He's gone. I think he just got snagged by the Russians.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
He is gone now. It's fine.
I always thought Ollie was Russian.
My
Where's the
cat
Russian sailor ship?
decided to sit on me just before the stream started, and then was like, oh, wait, you're talking. Go away.
I mean,
You're doing that weird thing again.
Ollie, you must have a pretty bad voice in person if your cat just can't stand it that much.
I have a pretty bad everything.
All right, so Rick, to answer your question, plus 50% to the cost. And all right, so bring it into the game today. So we have last session. You guys more or less were able to get off of the world that were there before, that you were stuck on before, Tyerma, make your way over to Terra Nova, have a conversation with the peoples that were there on the for the Alliance, and more or less come to terms with them. They needed to make sure that you weren't bringing any parasites or anything. To some degree you were, but things were easily taken care of with the level of medical technology that they have. So they cleaned off your ship, cleaned off all that stuff. Everything was good to go. And two of you decided to head off on like a transportation shuttle ship to get all the way back to the Citadel. While you were over at the Citadel, you could get your monies that you had earned for the job that you did starting the campaign. Yay, a ton of money came in. Woo! And so you took that money, bought a couple of bits for yourself, and I believe Constantinia took like, we're going to say 85% of it, but it's probably more, and just like dropped it right onto the party fund, which is amazing. Carmine, as of this point, was like, ferret it away.
I mean, I'm still going to use it for them,
Of
but
course.
I'm keeping it in my own pocket for now.
Of course, and that actually makes sense from a character perspective. So anyways, while they were gone, you had a deal that everybody was trying to kind of work together with the Alliance, more or less saying, oh, you have a science vessel that can do nifty things. We totally snooped into your computer and found that out. But it's okay. We're going to offer you a deal. And you guys decided to take him up on the deal and actually went around a nearby planet. It's specifically for, it's for surveying planets the ship is good for, but specifically attuned to be able to survey gas giants very well because it's designed in such a way to withstand that atmosphere better than most other vessels. So you did that. You succeeded. You found some good information. You got a couple more credits thrown your way. I believe a few thousand credits thrown your way. So good news there. And now the party's kind of coming back together finally, deciding what it is that you're going to do next. I will roll into the story part of what's coming your way in a moment. First, let's kind of like get the whole party together. I believe Constantinia and Carmine were 100% done shopping for everything they wanted to do over there. And I believe during the rest of the time here, we had, what's their names? Sid, Icarus, and Dylan were working through the, I remember Dylan, give me. We're working through the ship trying to find out the things that were wrong with it. So in the amount of time that you spent looking through the ship, you actually discovered that the ship needs a tuning. It's sat there collecting rust and whatnot for so long, luckily powered down, so not getting any more beat up. But it actually has, in stars outnumber terms, it's down 1 in its, it's a -1 modification. It's down 1 for its upkeep. So you would have to spend a decent amount of money to remove that -1 penalty to the checks that you make with the vessel. Okay? So,
Or could it just get a non-shit ship?
or get a non-shit ship. But who says that somebody wants to buy a beat-up old, Solarian vessel from you?
Rich collectors.
It's an antique.
And the DM doesn't want to set up a new ship.
Yeah.
We'll just board it. Fine, we'll take over a pirate vessel.
That could work. But think of it this way. If you took over a pirate vessel, what's to say somebody else can't do that to you?
Carmine.
What?
This guy,
Yeah.
right here.
Do that anyway.
We'll have him protect it.
He can fucking try. Bring it.
Okay.
We'll just fly bigger boats.
So the two of you have flown back to the planet. Come back in on your transports. Constantini, I believe you actually delivered a line last week about here, this is for the party fund sort of a thing, and dumped all the credits into a hole. And you guys.
And I gave Sid chocolate. That was the more important part.
There you go. And you gave Sid chocolate and all of that. Awesome. Were there any other RP things that you guys needed to go over with each other? Anything that you needed to chat about?
How is Sid doing medically?
Healthy. Alive. I think. Unless something's changed I don't know about.
No. Nothing's changed.
Oh, right. She's allergic to chocolate, and Constantini just killed her.
I'm just saying you were still fragile from recently, from nearly the whole dying bit.
Luckily, you guys being gone for an entire week, Sid doing light labor and whatnot, and being able to stay on the ship and have like the medical bay and whatnot work on her, like taking the appropriate medicines, having the wounds looked after, stuff like that. We're gonna remove the fragile quality from her. It takes a week.
I was your nurse.
Yeah, there you go.
Best
Your
bedside
prescription
manner.
is ready.
Yeah.
Honestly, despite how Icarus looks, he's less intimidating than the Doctor droids in Star Wars. Those things.
They're all creepy.
Yeah, they're terrifying.
Yeah.
They're really bad.
Sadness.
My new favorite droid is the one in the new movie that just has a really tall neck. Like the lower body is a protocol droid, and then there's like a really tall neck. Like it's just gonna have to awkwardly lurch over everyone to talk to them. Like what? Who built that? Aside from Kyandi Mundi.
Yeah. That's the one planet you'd think of that might make sense, but whatever. All right, so you any other big RP things that you guys need to do? You were saying, Rick, you were asking about her health.
Yeah, because I'm kind of like the group medic, so I'll probably run her through a quick checkup when I get there. It's like just for routine, just making sure you don't die immediately.
Gotcha. So
Yeah, Sid's not going to let you near them at all, ever. You are not a doctor.
All right, if you don't, I saved your life once. Probably could do it again.
He's infinitely
Probably will
a
have
better
to do it
doctor
again.
than anyone on your planet was.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
but it's also like, hey, let me check up on you. Like, no,
I
get
think
away
that
from me.
was never a thing.
I mean,
I think Sid has some problems of Sid's own that Sid needs to deal with in Sid's time.
I don't think Icos speaks like that.
Sid
No, I
did
could've
disguise the fact that she was female while on the planet, so there are issues.
Makes me think of Jack from Chronicles of Riddick, or what's that first one? Pitch Black. All right.
Such a good movie.
I very much did enjoy that one. Let me go over here. Cool. All right, so unless there was anything else that you guys really wanted to go over with one another.
No, that would have probably been it for now.
Okay, sure. There we go. So I was just loading up my notes and everything. All right, so anyways, while you guys were there and everybody got together, you talked about the funding, you talked about all the stuff that needs to be done with the ship, the maintenance of it, all that stuff has gone over. You do grab a plan to see how much it would cost to get the ship up to date. Like you speak with the engineers and whatnot here. They're like, "Whoo, we have to switch out so many parts right here for you." Da, da, da. It's actually 20,000 credits in maintenance cost to get the thing back up to par. 20,000 credits. So nifty thing is, this actually is not core for Stars Without Number rules. I actually allow for a certain degree of mitigation for a ship's condition to happen based off of who the mechanic of the ship is. If you have an electronics skill of 1, you can actually ignore up to a -1 penalty. You can like mitigate some of that penalty right there, so long as you actually spend some of your mod slots to do so. More or less saying that you're spending extra time running around the ship, tweaking this here, making it work over there. Kind of think of like, say, Serenity or the Millennium Falcon. These things shouldn't be allowed to fly, certainly not as well as they do, but somehow, some way, they're able to continue pumping, right? So, I believe, Frank, you actually have an electronics 1 or higher, don't you?
Yes.
So, if you want, you can spend some of your mod slots, which you're not using anyways, to make sure that you can mitigate the penalties to the ship. And so what you were doing with Dylan and Icolas, that time that they were gone, is more or less you're like, we figured out a way to kind of like make it work. But it does come at a slight cost to you, okay? If you want to eliminate that altogether, it's the 20,000 credits. So while you were waiting for everybody to come, sorry, after everybody got there, you guys spent like a day or two relaxing, trying to figure out where it is that you're going next. You actually do get a call sent in from the organization that you guys were working with beforehand. The Human, Frank, what are they called again?
Human March Association.
Yes.
March, that's right. Human March
HMA.
Association. So the HMA does contact you guys saying, we actually have a job for you. Please let us know if you're interested in hearing more details. To which I imagine you go, beep, more details, please. We like money.
Yeah.
And so where it is that they will have the call with you, because they'll actually pull you in for a call, and they have like the little hollow call thing using the quantum entanglement and whatnot that they always use. You guys would actually go to that central part of your ship, the area that has like more or less the meeting table. And so they would appear on the center of that table right there, because it does actually function, as we said last week. So you go to that meeting area, and the person would stand before you on the table, and they kind of like throw up the paperwork around you for some details for you to look over as they're explaining. when they appear in front of the table, and you guys appear around the table in front of them, he says, good day or night. I honestly don't know what it is over or where you are, but you guys.
I don't think we do either.
Yeah, look out
We're in
the window.
space. It doesn't matter.
You guys looking to pick up another job, right?
Correct.
Well, I have to say, with the work that you guys just did recently, there is you impressed a couple of people within the Alliance. I mean, you took down an entire Batarian vessel, took out all the Batarians, and potentially found a lost group of people to bring them back into the fold. That certainly caught a few eyes. I do have another job for you, but it does come with a hefty requirement, and whether or not you can succeed, I don't doubt based off of your current track record. However, whether or not you can meet this requirement, I have concerns of based off of your recent track record. Not you, Constantinia, he says, kind of like swiveling around to look at Constantinia. I'm sure this would be perfectly fine for you if you were doing this alone. And turns back to the rest.
Wow.
Then perhaps I should do it alone.
I don't think that that's going to be very feasible. Let me give you the details. So, not very far from where you are, there's a planet by the name of Silva, and around that planet is a moon named by the name of Oliviera. So on Silva, it's a gas giant. There is a mine that exists there, a harvesting plant, to harvest large production levels of helium-3. Now, this was used for more merchant transport vessels and the like. It's something that the Alliance has been using for a while, and some of the corporations within, human control, to make a good amount of profit for so many years. Recently, the production levels of that harvesting plant have dropped incredibly so. It was just believed that the natural helium-3 that was produced within the planet has just dipped. It happens. And there wasn't much concern. Of course, the Alliance sent out an inspector to go check things out, and they confirmed that that was in fact the case. Their production is low because of the fact that the planet itself is running out. They're going to have to pick up shop and move somewhere else. Well, it wasn't until after the inspector got back to Arcturus that they became aware of something else. Some intel was intercepted along the way. It seems as though the station's bank accounts seem to be just as active, but to different accounts. So the wiring of funds and whatnot is going to different accounts than they were beforehand, but they're just as active as though there were a similar number of transactions happening. No reduction whatsoever, as production would suggest. Beyond that, the supply shipping companies have changed somewhat, and the new companies seem to be handling more shipments than records reveal. So this is more or less going off eyewitness accounts for how many vessels are passing to and from. When I say eyewitness, I mean records pulled off of scannings of other ships nearby, versus the records that were provided to the inspector when they actually checked out in Silva. So the request is for you to make your way down to the planet of Silva, into the harvesting plant itself, and to investigate to see if things are going. The requirement here is that you be as subtle as possible. This is actually a very, very important thing. You see, there are two other factors in play. There happens to be a Volus merchant. You may have heard of him. His name is Fax Duve. He handles a lot of major exportation of these goods to the galactic northeast. And the thing is, he has a bit of a reputation about him should he find out there's any form of conflict. Beyond that, on Oliviera, the moon that's orbiting Silva, Admiral Hackett happens to be there with a visiting ambassador of Elcor. This is the first time Admiral Hackett has met with the ambassador of Elcor, and he doesn't want anything happening to be on his mind when he meets with you. You know how Elcor are. You know what I mean? You can be as subtle as you possibly can, but they just know everything you're thinking, right? So he just needs to have a clear mind when he goes and meets with this ambassador. Is this something that you think you're going to be able to handle for us?
I just look at the others.
Yeah, I think so.
Sounds costly. What's the down payment going to be?
Well, there is no down payment on this one because the Alliance can't admit to anything that they're doing, and I haven't been giving any authorization to put it forward for the Alliance from my own company. I can tell you, however, the payout at the end. Solve the problem, and there's no question you'll each be making yourselves 5,000 credits. Solve the problem within the confines of the requirements, and you get triple that.
Yeah, we can make that happen.
All right. I understand that you might have to have a conversation amongst yourselves. I see you looking around the table and nodding, meaning that you want to have a conversation. I'm probably in the way. So I will step back and let you do that. I do want to say they did offer, and I know this may sound measly, but it is to, in case it's taking up your time, even if you do pop down there just for a quick look around and there's records to prove that you did so, whether or not you find anything as a to and fro fee, they are willing to give you each 500 credits. So I understand it's not very much, but if you're willing to at least pop in there and take a look around, even if you don't interfere, they are willing to give you 500 credits. But feel free to reopen communications with me. I'll give you some time to speak to each other. I'll see you in about 1 to 2 hours.
You should get them to fix the ship first. We're an asset, after all.
We're going to go on a planet. I get that we need the ship fixed, but they're not gonna see that as very helpful for us.
We're an
Unless we
asset
can
if we
give
can
them
do the job. We're a liability until then.
If we do the job quietly and fix the problem, we get 60,000, which should be enough to solve a lot of issues around here.
That would be enough to repair the ship.
Nicholas, how loud is the ship to sensors in its current condition?
It is a ship. It is silent in space.
The sensors?
I think Sid is inquiring about the electronic signature.
I can sense a ghost, can't I, Scott?
Oh, absolutely, you can.
Yeah.
You
I
just-
can make us quiet.
And Sid just kind of stomps on the ground a bit. Well, and our disheveled look should add to any disguise if someone gets their eyes on us.
It is a mining planet. Yes?
Yes.
Correct.
And we fit right in. I do, anyway. I am perfect for undercover. Kind of like sits up a bit, like rises up like proudly. Yeah.
Just as bow
I think
tie.
me and Constantinia could make our way around and try to not be seen if it comes to that.
The best way to not be seen is to be seen.
That is true.
So you want
No.
thumpers
My
around.
charisma is terrible, and I would never be able to pull that off.
My charisma's great. And I can pull that off.
Maybe you can handle point sniping.
I don't like sniping.
Me and my bud over here. I think we can handle the talking. And she just like pats Icelas on what she assumes is the shoulder.
You can't reach his shoulder. He's tiny. It's like there's no way. I imagine you're all sitting and he's just standing. He probably wasn't even in the video call because it probably like makes like a bubble. He's
No.
just off the side.
Oh no, he is the background.
smart
It's like a
tech.
green
Yeah.
screen.
They pull it back. You know what I mean?
What's that over there? Is that a sculpture? Oh, it's a robot.
It's just, you know, it just doesn't look as good because it's like shrunken. They have to like blow it back up. All right. So, anyways, so you guys agree to it. So, you can more or less either send him a message or reinitiate the call, saying that you agree to it. Did you want to reinitiate the call, or you're good?
I don't think we really need to discuss much.
He already sent you coordinates and all the other stuff. He already sent you so kind of like, so going back to the conversation you guys were having, looking through the data that he had sent to you, because like I said, he put it on the digital display on the table around where he was kind of standing on the information that you need. So it's like the coordinates of the planets, the best trekked route to get there, like more or less the typical trade routes to get there, because he doesn't know exactly where you guys are. So the best trade routes to get there, and then the coordinates on the planet of the actual facility you're going to be landing in, as well as identification code and landing password to get onto the facility itself. So, because again, it is a it's a harvesting plant. Excuse me. It is a harvesting plant, so it's not like it's on the surface, right? Because you're on a gas giant. There really is not a typical surface. So it's like higher up, and it has like a network that expands outwards that stays.
Are you telling me there's a cloud city?
Cloud City? So yes, but of course it's all.
Gonna get straight cloud car.
So,
But distinct enough so you don't get sued.
of course, yes, of course. So you
Gas city.
So you guys make your way to you guys can make your way there, and you have like full authorization to be able to land there. However, you don't have like documents saying that you're this person of this. You know what I mean? Like that's all on you. So
We basically have a thing saying we're meant to be there so we can land there,
Yeah.
but not why.
Let's pick up some trade goods.
We're also a science ship that is designed for gas giants.
Yeah, we could do some scans of the gas giants and then go in. It's like, hey, we get these scans.
I definitely was gonna.
I mean, I figured, yeah.
Sid also wants extra money.
there you go. Perfect. So you guys just send message, or do you call them back saying that you agree?
Well, how long is it gonna take?
To get there, let me just think for a second. It is 50 hours, so it's gonna take you about 3 days to get there from where you are.
That's fine.
Yeah. On the
Did they
I
wire?
mean, no, it doesn't take any fuel, so.
nope, because you're actually no. My apologies. It is going to be in the Arcturus stream. So because it's in the Arcturus stream, if you guys actually are over on the galaxy map, which you're not, but you can easily just see any Mass Effect Galaxy map, it is over. Is outside.
Oh, right, so it is a jump.
Yeah, it's a 12-hour jump, an actual an actual jump. And now Sid has never done this before, but obviously has done it a ton of times in like the training modules that she's done over the course of many years. So Sid is going to be able to do this for the first time.
What's the DC?
It's actually set at a 10.
No, I pass.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that's why you're able to move two tiles, no questions. If you want to do more than that,
Using a Mass Effect relay, like a super complicated math-based thing, but Sid just knows
oh no,
really
Sid,
well.
He's a natural.
Sid doesn't just know. She is like a natural pilot sort of a thing. But so let's actually explain this out. So
Yeah.
one thing is as we talked about beforehand, Sid's background and earlier in this campaign, Sid was on this planet where it was isolated, but people still had hope that they were going to be rescued and sent away, and so they still tried to train children to be important, to be able to be useful in the galaxy when they got out there. Like they still had schooling. Sid's schooling, because of who Sid's parents were, actually was with piloting. It was specifically like, we have all these VR training modules. If you think VR exists great in 2018, oh hell no, it does not. Even
Wasn't the people on that planet around before Mass Effect jumping?
no, that's how they got to that
humans?
planet. They mass jumped.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It was before.
I thought they were pre. Like I thought they were
It was
old junker.
Pre-alliance. Post.
Pre-alliance, early tech. Okay.
Yeah. So
That's what confused me because I thought like
no. They mass jumped to get there. Otherwise, they still wouldn't be there yet, as of right now, if they were just doing sublight travel. So
Just when the
anyways,
alliance was just being formed, basically.
Yeah. So, exactly, as what Frank just described. So it was lots of VR training, and that's how it was that Sid got all this like background and became an amazing pilot without ever sitting in a ship before. As for the mass relay jump, to describe it in the season, so mass relay jumps, the way that it works is as you approach the relay and you enter into it, the which, assuming it has more than one place that I can fire off to, because some do, you enter into it the coordinates of the other relay that you want to go to, and it shifts ever so slightly to line up with the other relay, so it knows that it's getting there. And then all you have to send to it is the exact, down to like the smallest measurable degree possible, the exact weight, the exact mass, I should say, of what it is that you're sending along. If you're off by even the slightest degree, it will either cause your ship to malfunction along the travel, which is why sometimes you have mishaps as you're traveling, or it'll just cause it to not function at all. It just won't allow you to jump, and you have to like loop back around and try again. So all you're doing is telling it if it's multiple locations, this one versus this one versus this one. If it's one location, you don't even say that. You skip that step. And how much mass you're transporting. That's all. So Sid would go up to the thing, be like, okay, and does like this calculation of how much it is. The computer actually does a lot of that work for Sid. Sid just kind of like double checks the work of the computer. Calculates the mass of literally everything that's coming with you, including anything that might be on the outside of the ship, anything that might be dragging behind your vessel that will continue to go. Calculates it all perfectly, and then and throws you you guys. So this travel, because you're traveling two galactic hexes, is how I was phrasing it, is it takes 12 hours to get from this mass relay to that mass relay. It is insane how many light years you travel to get there. Once you land within the Arcturus system, it actually puts you over by the star Arcturus. Once you're there, you then have to do an interstellar travel to bring you from the Arcturus star over to the Euler star. This is something that Sid can do no problem. Sid, once again, you actually don't even have to roll. You can just take a 10. I'm going to have fun making you roll in the future, but for now, we can be nice to you.
I'll roll anyways, just to make you happy.
Oh, no, you don't have to. It's good. Fails.
I failed.
We'll die.
Still doesn't count, but still.
Yeah. So you just automatically succeed at anything 10 or less. So this is the typical like traveling faster than the speed of light, affecting the mass of your own ship, the mass of where it is that you're going, so on and so forth. This is the 50-hour travel bit that we've done beforehand. It takes a little over 50 hours to get there from this star to that star. So at one point in time, you do have to pull off to a nearby star, go up to a random planet nearby, do the space dump, and then pick back up again and fire back off to finish getting your way to Euler. That's how the travel goes. Once you're within Euler, once again, solar travel is so much different. It's literally like stars that number simplifies it greatly. Going from celestial body to celestial body, 6 hours. Just always assume 6 hours. So when you actually pull up close enough to the star of Euler, you're then going to make your way over to the planet of Silva. Okay? You guys, let's see, who would, everybody except for Sid can make for me a know check, a lore intelligence check to see what you know about this system.
Nice.
Nice, Icarus. Okay, specifically Icarus. This is information that's been loaded into your cerebrum, your processors or whatever, before you even got off of that other planet. So within the Euler system, there is one planet by the name of Banning. Banning is actually a super, super, super important planet to the Alliance. Banning is the planet where almost all of the food is produced and transported from to bring to Arcturus Station. What is Arcturus Station? The Arcturus relay is the only relay you can use to get to the local system, Earth. I believe in... Yeah, it's the only system to get to Earth. So there's only 3 ways to get to the local cluster, Sol cluster, right? One of them is from the Serpentine Nebula, which is where the Citadel is, so there's no dangers coming from there. One is from the Viper Nebula, which honestly there's no known dangers that exist there. And the other is from this here, the Arcturus Stream, which is tons of dangers can come from here. So anyways, Arcturus Station is like where the biggest fleet is that belongs to the Alliance. It's where their biggest station exists. It's like if you're going to mess with us, we are going to crush you before you ever get to our planet area is. Also, because it's connected to so many places in the galaxy, it's where they can send their little worker bees out to go kill other people if they need to. Humans are very militant in mindset, and so they have this brilliant setup here. So Arcturus Station is super important. They get all their food from Banning. Enough backstory. You guys are making your flight to this this system, as we said, and then you start flying your way over to the actual planet of Silva itself. As described, Silva is a gas giant. It is a beautiful deep green color. coming off of it. So as you guys are approaching, it looks, as always, from afar like this amazing marble in space. But as you get closer, you can see all the wonderful nuanced details to it. You can see the raging storms that exist there, etc., etc., etc. And it is ginormous. Is your plan to land straight on the go straight to the station, or did you want to scan the planet first, guys?
I assumed we'd scan the planet after, because that's weird to do first, right?
I agree with.
I imagine that's something that is noticeable.
Agreed.
If they ask why we're here, well, that's why we're here.
That's not so much an in-character thing, it's so much I don't know how it works thing, so I'm assuming.
I mean, they could probably detect that something is scanning, like, the area.
So,
You're like,
I
why
just
are you scanning?
think it's better
Well,
to- yeah, exactly.
told you when we were on the station when you asked.
So it's better to land, be like, hey, we're here to scan, but you might as well get some supplies, and look, our ship, it constantly...
Yeah, we might as well ask a couple of questions about the gas giant, because these people work there.
Yeah,
Well, we're a scientific vessel. We're trying to find out as much about this planet
science.
before we scan it.
Yeah.
So we
We're a
have to ask
scientific
questions.
vessel. In comes the human wearing, like, 2 assault rifles.
You're a bodyguard! You're a
6
science...
guns.
you're
I
a
mean-
science soldier.
As Isolus just told us,
I mean, it's true.
Victoria's Stream is a dangerous place. We do need bodyguards. I personally am not a fighter.
You're a lover, not a fighter. We get it.
Definitely don't love.
Cool. Then no scanning, landing, please. And I guess I wouldn't even sensor ghost, because we're meant to be there.
Okay, cool. So as you're approaching the planet of Silva, actually you do get a signal called to you, but it's not from the planet itself. Tracing the signal back very quickly, you actually see it comes from the moon of, hold on,
That's no moon.
Oliviera. So it actually
Probably
comes
literally a moon.
from Oliviera. The moon sends you the signal, saying, you know, we notice that you have a trajectory bringing you over to the mining world of Silva. Please state your purpose of landing there.
Good morning. We're
No!
here-
If you even try, you are muted hardcore, because this was discussed before. And Icarus doesn't even speak. Icarus sends over a bloody text document that he's already prepared of basically everything we've already said. This is not even a flaw that is allowed to happen, because we're not
No.
getting to the planet if you start speaking. You don't understand space!
So I just want to be clear
But
on how
I've,
this plays out.
I have the
He
most
says
charisma.
good morning, and then gets muted, and then we send over a document.
This is not about charisma. This is about paperwork.
This is amazing.
You don't walk up to the America border. Good evening. No, you get.
Bob has never gone from New York to Canada and Canada to New York. That's exactly what
The Canadian border doesn't count.
it's also what I do whenever I go to England.
Good.
It's like, hey, good morning, I'm American.
As someone who's
Frank
been
walks up to the TSA
both-
like that. Good morning to you. Here's my ID.
Oh, the fucking TSA people love me. I get through TSA so quick.
So awesome. Aaron, like you said,
their lives nice.
Sid says good morning, gets muted immediately unless Sid tries to counter the mute.
Yes.
Okay. So,
Okay,
Hold on.
there wouldn't even be. This mic would not be on.
Hold on,
You
no,
don't
no.
even understand. This,
I understand. Hold on. Good morning. It's shut down because Icarus was probably waiting for it. Shut down. Sid, sorry, you immediately send the document. All that's good. The person's receiving the document, so they're not saying anything yet. Sid, if you'd like to make a decryption check to get that back online, counted by Ollie's decryption check.
Decryption -1. You know, I'll do it because I can.
Like,
oh,
hey!
good. Oh, good. Look at this
Yeah.
friendship.
Yeah.
There's just Icarus's head just slowly turns to face you, and the eyes that are always a kind of orange red, it's like they just increase in brightness, staring at you.
I think Sid just because the captain's chair has to be a swivel chair, just like
It has to be. Right?
turns
It
into a
has to be.
swivel chair, just like legs crossed, like both hands on her ankles, just staring, smiling, and tilting.
Nice.
Why would you do that? I was just saying good morning.
Does Nicholas respond? I think that was a legitimate question.
Oh, if that was actually, then
Yes.
no. He just stares. And then after an uncomfortable pause, it's just like, I talk. This was discussed. You agreed.
I mean,
You agreed.
I agree that I can't say good morning to people.
You do not know the time frame of their planet?
It's morning somewhere.
Oh, looks like all the documents check out. You are more than welcome to land over on the planet of Silva. If you have any other questions, please defer them to their radios. We're sending you the frequency now. And then you say, brrr, let the numbers come to you to tell you how to contact them directly.
Sid immediately sends a text
Nicholas
message back saying,
definitely
"Thank you,
ends the
Fireface."
call.
Like, not even a thank you, nothing, just call ended.
Nope, this was a text message.
So
Sure, you could send another message. That's going to look suspicious.
you guys
Yeah.
make your way over to the planet of Silver, to the harvesting station. You do, of course, the contact with them is literally just, it's not even words or anything like that. It's just your computers lining up to make sure that where the actual docking and everything happens, all that stuff comes online. Sid, you've dealt with this a ton of times before with this time you're not being escorted by crafts, you know what I mean? You're just getting like this is where I'm supposed to land. You've experienced this beforehand.
So it has to land a ship.
So-
We have like a game that you play moment.
Your piloting, is it a 1 or a 2, Frank?
2.
Cool. So things like landing, unless it's like a critical, like a crashing or something, you never have to roll for takeoffs or landings. Even obnoxiously complicated ones, you don't ever have to roll for things like takeoffs or landings. And when I say obnoxiously complicated, I'm talking about elite dangerous, going into a orbiting, like spinning facility, and you're like, don't hit the ships near me.
You would know about difficulty trying to dock there.
I got better at it as time went. So you were able to land no problem. As soon as you land, you guys get all your stuff together. Here's the big question: how are you presenting yourselves when you walk out there? I don't mean persona. I mean like, how are you dressing? Like, what are you wearing?
All right. So Sid only has one pair of clothes. So
that.
kind of.
Does
it's
anyone
part of
have
a minor.
different clothes?
I don't think I would have my field dress uniform anymore.
I mean, in theory, you guys can just be like, we each spend 50 credits and get more clothes, and I go, cool. And
But
then-
we're now.
Why?
I don't know if Amazon delivers to spaceships.
I mean, next time you're at a civilized area. But go ahead.
I mean, Sid already fits the part wearing just khakis and leathers.
Yeah, you look the part,
Mhm.
especially with a maintenance robot. Honestly, you're fine. I think if
My
you have
question-
if you have her do most of the talking.
My apologies. The robot I wasn't worried about, and Sid I knew was very limited. That question was actually directed to Aaron and Rick.
I
Oh,
know.
really? Was
More,
it? That
more or
was
less,
very
like,
obvious.
are you walking in with a bazooka on your back and like shields up, or like,
Can I have a bazooka?
I don't take any weapons.
if you can afford it?
She doesn't need weapons.
I mean, I can technically afford
Stop
it.
documenting.
If you
Right.
can find it. So I'm sorry, Aaron, you were saying?
I wear my armor, but I don't bring any weapons.
Sure, you wear your armor. You don't bring. Do you bring a sidearm with you?
Mm,
Yes.
not if it would look weird.
Remember, switching to your sidearm is
you
always
would,
faster than
wouldn't it?
reloading.
My apologies. So that actually does not look strange for somebody who's
Oh,
military.
okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. Then I'll just bring a sidearm.
I mean, you're not walking in with an assault rifle or anything like that. You're walking in
No.
with, I'm a military personnel, I have my military sidearm. You know, that's not uncommon in this world, this
Cool.
galaxy. So, for you, Rick,
I kind of want to walk in with my assault rifles, but that's not going to fit in well, so I'm going to do the smart thing.
you actually have hardpoints 3 now, don't you?
I
So
do,
you
yes.
actually
It's
like
a
assault
shotgun.
rifle, shotgun, and sidearm with your armor on and everything. Be like, I'm a soldier.
At least bring
Yeah.
your shotgun.
Oh yeah, I would definitely bring my shotgun.
If we're like getting ready to get off the ship and you don't have your weapons, Ikelis will actually go. It's like, where are your firearms?
He gets his other assault rifle and his other assault rifle.
I mean, like, how weird would it be if I walked in there with medium light armor and like a shotgun and an assault rifle on my back?
It's one of those things where I can't even answer that question for you because none of you have ever done that before. Walked into a harvesting plant wearing arms and armor. When you're like, if you were part of the Alliance directly, then I'm sure not that strange, right? This is an Alliance-controlled area, but you're not. So it's up to you as if you think your judgment, man.
Yeah, we'll go light. It's very uncharacteristic, but we'll go light. We'll just bring the sidearm.
Okay, there you go.
Just the sidearm?
So Ikelis
Yeah.
makes note. And
No,
says
Sid takes your shotgun and just hands it to you. She puts her hands together, points to you. Anti-fire bodyguard points to Constantina. Turian military consultant who is currently on leave to assist with scientific projects. That's her cover.
First of all, don't touch my guns.
For somebody who didn't know they
Fine. If you want me to bring guns that badly, I will. But don't look at me when they start giving us funny looks. And I bring one assault rifle, that being the regular one, and a shotgun.
I love that's Carmine's nice way of saying, please God, thank you. He's like, thank you for making me do this. AKA, don't touch my guns. But sure.
First of all, you little shit. Don't touch my guns.
What the fuck did you just say to me, you little shit?
That's something you would
I
actually see in a
imagine
movie,
Carmine
too.
has a voice like he has only breathed cigarette smoke in all his life.
No, I
That's-
imagine having
that-
more
that's-
like a Jane voice from Firefly.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a little raspy normally, but then sometimes he, like, forces it because he, like, really wants to sound tough.
I haven't seen that actor in anything recently.
He was in Chuck.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything aside from Chuck.
He's a Baldwin, isn't he? Adam Baldwin, I think.
If he's a Baldwin, he's a different Baldwin, because all the Baldwins look the same.
I think
But
he's
like,
a Baldwin, but
like weird
not
clone
part of the family.
Oh, so just the same name, but not a family member. Gotcha.
Yep.
Because he was on, I think Angel, for a while too, like later season Angel. But anyways, I think it's Adam Baldwin. I could be wrong. But anyway, so continuing on. So you guys did come up with this persona, this way of approaching the situation, and you step off of your ship and into the area where you were greeted by nothing, no greeting whatsoever. As a matter of fact, there's in the whole docking
I shoot the
area-
welcoming committee. Oh wait, there's nobody.
This isn't RimWorld.
The whole docking area is pretty empty. Sans, you see there is one other area where there's a whole bunch of, like, there's 5 people all dressed in the same uniform. You imagine they work for some sort of company because they're taking crates, like barrels, clearly pressurized containers, and they're loading them up onto a ship that's docked somewhere nearby. And they're almost done with their own docking and loading things up to lead off of there. But there's actually nobody else in the area. They don't even look up at you or take note of you whatsoever as you step off of your ship or walk past them. Feel free to approach or do whatever you'd like from here.
Alright,
I'm just
so what's
looking
game plan?
Well, looking for information. Doesn't hurt to ask.
Bar. Humans congregate at bars.
This is true. But so do mercenaries and adventurers, so we gotta be careful.
Could go for a drink.
Achilles just looks at Carmine's like, humans can be mercenaries.
I mean, it used to be Alliance. It's not the weirdest thing in the world to see a man with guns walking around.
I will scan with my robot eyes.
Oh, Sid was just gonna go up to the guys who are all.
Oh yeah, you. I won't stop you,
Yeah, go for it.
but I'm gonna use my eyes.
So Sid, you're gonna walk up to the group of people that are, like, loading stuff onto this transport vessel.
Yep.
Okay. So as you go walking up to them, what do you? They don't even take note unless you say something to them. They just kind of like
Hey.
doing work. Like,
First time on the station. Where's the bar?
Bar?
Any place to drink?
Not on the station. No. the moon. You know, when people take their leave, they go to the moon, and there's a few bars down there. But no, the station's just for work, and you know, there are those that sleep here during their week.
Ah, dang. No place I can get a drink here then?
Honestly, I'm sure if you ask around, somebody's got something squirreled away. I don't think there's any rules against having drinks here. There's just no bars or anything like that exist. Maybe check the kitchens. We just do transport. We don't actually stay here.
Hey, we'll check the kitchens then. Thank you for the information. Just
Yeah.
stand up to shake the guy's hand if he's not carrying anything.
He'll kind of like wipe his hand off really quickly, even though everything here is sterile and clean. He'll like wipe his hand off really quickly and then go to shake yours. Adam. And then he looks up to see like the group of people that are with you, and this is like the first time he stops to like regard all of you, and so he gives kind of like a curious look, and then just says, "Good luck," and then goes back to his work.
We'll probably die on the planet, but it's fine.
I give him a polite nod.
Okay. So you guys are then going to move off of the docking area and kind of like into the facility. Is that a yes?
I suppose.
Okay. It's a
The
silent
kitchens, I
yes.
guess.
So as you move out of the docking area, which you know, of course, the doors, you guys go through, enter into the elevator because the docking station is much higher up in the facility than the central area, which is where like people live, the control systems, and then the lower area of the facility is going to be where all the actual harvesting happens coming off of the planet, the part that like collects to the network of actual harvesting equipment. So when you guys go into the leave the docking area and get into the elevator, it drops down. Elevator has a little bit of elevator music for you, Carmine. Actually, it's a very familiar sounding song. Actually, it makes you think of. Never mind, my chair can't handle it. So you make your way down into that central middle zone. Door opens up, and in here you actually see people walking about. But they're just going about their business. Like immediately you see a woman and a man that are both wearing clearly the uniform of the station, walking by. One of them's holding a tablet or data pad in front of them, just kind of like talking about some details that are on there, and you know, scrolling up in it as they're having a conversation. You see a few of the other people in here just like standing off in the corner and having a conversation. There's literally down one of the hallways a water cooler, and there's people gathered around it laughing as one person's telling this like big old story. And so on and so forth. It seems relatively normal here. I would say as you experience the facility, it's 99% human. It's almost completely human, with like occasionally it's like a Solarian or something here that was probably a part of like maintaining the equipment, because you know, Solarians are smarter. So when you guys first enter the facility, take a moment to kind of like regard everything going around. Where is it that you want to go? What direction do you want to take?
I will, looking around and seeing that it's basically a space office, send a message to all of their Omni tools saying I can interface with the system's local network if you wish.
You're saying this to whose Omni tools?
All of them.
All of them.
So the entire station?
No.
No, us.
Use your brain, Scott.
That's why I was like,
There's something called context.
I thought it was weird.
That's quite important
like-
to tabletop RPGs.
Gotcha.
In Scott's defense, I thought you meant everyone on the stations first.
What's wrong with you people?
Am I the only person who understood that he doesn't want to send spam to everyone?
I thought it was weird. I was thinking like your uncle sending you that email that you just don't want to read.
So funny.
Yeah, right?
You won't believe I saw it on the news.
Yeah, oh god, I hate those. Luckily, I'm not a part of those chains anymore. Anyways, so you send the message to your partners. You guys, do you do like, is this like 2018? Where like you guys walk into an area, there's four of you all standing next to each other, one of them busts out a cell phone and starts typing, and everybody else starts typing back to each other? Is that one of
Well,
those?
it's
Sid
less
doesn't type
obnoxious
back.
'cause it's Mass Effect.
Sid just says, do it.
As long as it's on the up and up.
I'm sure it happens all the time. And then I'll go over to a console,
Sure.
looking like I belong, which I do. I imagine.
You make it over to your console. As soon as you go over there and you log into the console, for you it's a different interface than it is for a regular organic creature. The organic creature would have to kind of like go through the code, go through the prompts, select 1 for this, select C for that. You, however, it's literally as soon as you go in there,
from 1 to C?
humans. So as soon as you you log in, you actually get a dump of data that immediately comes to you, including like a floor plan for the entire facility, like the outline floor plan of the.
I'll actually send that to them.
So the floor plan doesn't tell you everything that's inside of every room, but it's the outline of the entire facility. You get everything for like the living area, what's going on there. Like for instance, if you're looking for an in particular person's room, where that person's room, all that kind of directory stuff just comes to you immediately. But more importantly, you can actually also have access more easily to touch that code that you were talking about there. So the question is, what is it you're trying to do with this system? As soon as you go there and you get this like data dumped to you.
I'm looking for the essentially invoices. You know, the back and forth and what's been sent and everything. And I assume this is the public network. So less looking for anything suspicious. Well, not looking for anything that's like, ooh, here's my illegal transaction, but more just like, you know, the gaps.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's like 3 folders in a row that are like, do not open. Seriously, do not look in here. Nothing suspicious going on.
Yeah.
So
at least at first.
The public information, the stuff that can be found of the facility that you can immediately find, you can actually see very quickly. And again, I'm not even going to make you roll for this because the public information, you can process data so quickly being a robot. When you first go looking through it, you can actually see that all of the public records were always released with a 3-month delay. That's how it always was beforehand. So like, here's the information that was 100% accurate at this point, behind by 3 months. So, you know what I mean? At the end of March, you get to December, whatever. For whatever reason they do that, who knows? It could just be a best practice so that you don't have too much public information out there. However, you can actually see for the past year that there has been a dump of data, but literally that dump of data happened several weeks ago. For the past year, kind of dropped off in little chunks. So instead of doing that every 3 months for a year now, they've just been holding it back and then.
So you know when you get like a project with a deadline and you change the date on the file to make it not look like you did it all at the end?
Yep.
Is that what they did?
More or less, yes. And you can pick this up. You know, they were just hiding things from the people that live there and work there.
Who sent this?
When you log in, it's anything that's like, so the most current data is classified, and who it is that provides this data, it says like specifically comes from these particular offices, but it doesn't say which actual authorizer sent this information. That's, once again, it kind of falls in the classified area. You might be able to access it.
Does Icarus think that hacking this will raise security?
Okay, so why don't we do this?
Does this look like that sort of thing?
Why don't we do this? You're going to do a test of the security systems. You're going to roll for me a decryption check to see what quality of security they have.
Yeah. You know, just to make it look like I have a virus or something, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So, funny thing, this system, checking throughout it and whatnot, it has your typical anti-malware sort of security system that you're going to find in any large corporation, as well as like your typical espionage kind of stuff that you're going to have in this kind of a facility. But honestly, if you're here on base accessing the terminals themselves, the security is not going to be super great so long as you have the right passcodes. Realistically, because of facilities like this, you could try your password 8-9 times before an alarm would go off, just because people fuck up. How many times have you gone to work, come over, and like, human error, right? So the security system is not that great for the system. However, you did find recently planted, sometime in the past year or so, there has been a secondary security system that's been put in place, one that's designed specifically to look for, it doesn't set off alarms, in the sense that the whole facility finds out, but it actually sends off every time a failed attempt to access a security area goes off, an alert gets sent to somebody's terminal. So every single time, even one mistake, an alert gets sent to one terminal.
I'm gonna relay this to them through their Omni tools, so I'm not speaking out loud, Mr. Scott.
Of course.
That everything, and is that the same I assume I can't figure out where that terminal is.
Not at the moment, correct.
Cool. An office recently changed all of the information for the last year, covering something up. There's also new security protocols that are in secret. I could always trigger them to find out where they go to, but I believe what would be best is to have the humans communicate with the office.
Now, while Icarus is doing this download and getting all this information, what are the three of you doing to kind of like? Are you literally just standing around waiting as the droid is interfacing with the terminal?
I'm gonna walk around a little bit, see if I can like catch any like conversations that are happening.
Sure. Karen?
I'm gonna walk around for a little bit, try to get a layout of the area if I can.
Sure.
Is there like a directory?
Actually, it was sent to you by Icarus.
Oh, cool. So I'm gonna just look at that and kind of get familiar with everything.
Absolutely. And Sid, are you actually standing by Icarus since that's your droid?
I think so.
Perfect.
Because somebody's going to try and approach eventually. I guarantee it.
Okay.
That's what Sid thinks. I'm just going
Perfect.
to get alone immediately. Or I'm going to die.
They have security around, I'm sure.
I mean, they do, but it's one of those things where as you and Carmine are walking around this entire area, eventually we'll say that Carmine sees one security person, and that security person, they just have a sidearm on them, and you can see that the type of the model of gun they have for a sidearm, that weapon is set to stun as a default. You have to actually hit a 3-digit code to have it transfer over to not being in a stun setting. Because again, this is a corporate. Like, why would you murder somebody in a corporate facility, even if they were doing some sort of espionage? You'd want to apprehend.
It's bad for workplace efficiency.
Well, it's also you want to apprehend criminals. You don't want to murder criminals, right? Because then you can actually, make them serve justice for their crimes.
Oh, you criminal scum!
Yeah. So you would. So they would like. There's one person there, and this one person is like walking around. You can tell it's like that typical kind of like mall security person. They're walking around. They're trying to like have conversations to people, and people are like, okay, Jim, that's nice. Okay, yep, gotta get to my office now. But they seem pretty harmless. To get back to your question, Ollie, the whole thing that you just brought up, you informed them of this information. Do you guys respond to that? We found out it's all been changed recently and all to like one terminal.
Also, I'd point to the office that the changing's being done at.
Yeah, that would be useful to know.
I'd say that why don't we just go and talk?
Yeah, that's our next stop.
Okay, perfect. So
Sounds
why
good.
don't we, before we take that step, take a break and be back in a couple of minutes. Apparently, the reward system is not working at the moment. I will see if I can repair that. So,
It wasn't on last week either.
what was that?
It wasn't on last week.
No, I think it was working last week, right? Because somebody actually did a redeem last week. So I'll check
I don't
right
know if
now.
it was last week or the week before. It was off for like half of it.
Yeah, it's something like that.
All right. So
You disabled it recently and forgot to turn it back on or something.
yeah. All right. We'll see you in a couple.
Bye, everyone.
stand
Has
wearing.
it?
I can't like poke my eyeball.
No, I also definitely can't do that. They call it being an eye scream, where just anything to do with the eyes. Like that one bit in The Simpsons where they like, there's a can and a spring comes out and jumps in someone's eye. It gave me nightmares for the longest time as a kid.
I once lost the contact on my eye for days.
Oh god, that's
Oh dear.
Gross.
So
Did you ever see that story of that woman who lost like 17 contacts?
Yeah, I was just gonna
It's
say
so
that.
gross.
I lost
It's
one,
gross.
and I
There's
don't
like
wear
a
them
Yeah.
anymore.
of her eye, and it's
Yeah.
horrible.
She was having trouble.
Ugh.
She went into the doctors, and they were able to like find all of them, pull them out.
So when I was sorry, we'll get back to the game in 2 seconds. I was
It's
visiting. my
Wednesday.
dad-
They know what to expect.
I was visiting.
We're
my dad.
hijacking this conversation.
I know, seriously. I was visiting my father, and I went. My contacts are bothering. So I took out my right eye contact and put it in my case. I took out my left contact, put it in my case. It felt funny, and I took out my right eye contact and went to go put it in my case. And went, wait a second. And that's when I realized where my contact went a few days ago when I was drinking, and I was like, oh my god, oh god.
No.
Did you ever get it out?
Yeah, it's got it's long gone, but that's why I don't wear contacts anymore because it freaked me out. You know what I mean? But, anyways, so
Context.
back to the game. You had asked the question, Ollie. Let's go contact person. Everybody else was like, yeah, let's go contact that person. Let's do this. And so let's.
We're gonna head to their office.
Cool. So you know the region of the offices that this comes from. Did you want to tap in to find out exactly which office it was? Were you like, no, let's kind of fly this?
If I could get the name of the of the people who work in that office easily, then yeah.
Cool. So why don't you try, because it is going to be a decryption check. It's just not going to be.
Is it something that would pop up alarms?
Anything that you do that fails
Then
will pop
no.
an alarm. Only if it
Then
fails,
no.
though.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
It's not important enough to know the name of the people before we go to talk to them to risk it, in my mind.
All
So I'm
right.
just gonna go see, and because they'll probably have a lanyard, something. Seems like the kind of place would have lanyards.
Okay, sure. So it's honestly one of those things where for lanyards, well, you guys don't really need, because once again you have a reason for your ship to be docked here. So it's kind of like one of those. Who are you? We're with this ship. Oh, okay, cool. If Jimmy were to come over, but if you wanted to have actual like authorization to get places, you could actually produce those things over at specific stations. But you'd have to hack it to tell it a reason for you to, so on and so forth. So you know where the offices are, and so you're gonna like, hey, let's go this direction. Now I know that obviously Icarus and Sid are going. Carmine and Constantinia, are you following with? Are you following back? Or are you just going in a different direction entirely?
I'm escorting them.
Yeah, following with.
Okay, cool. So the four of you start making your way over to where the group of offices are, which are, so when you looked at the original layout of the facilities, there were several different elevators to get up and down to the area down below, the actual like mining area. The mining area also has a separate group of offices that are specifically for like the engineers and whatnot that handle maintaining the harvesting. So that area down there, you actually has its own separate elevator to get to from the offices up above. You know that exists, but that doesn't matter. So you make your way over to where the offices are. It's a whole different section. You can get into the offices easily. It's one of those things where literally as the door opens up and you step in, the quality of hallway you were in beforehand, the quality of lighting you were in beforehand is all very different. Once you get to the actual like finer office area, the executive office area, the walls are no longer metal walls that have windows on them. The walls are all window, looking out into the beautiful storm that's all around you. It's actually kind of intimidating because like before you didn't really notice it. Now when you're standing in this room and you see like the raging storm that's around you that is a gas giant planet, it's like one of those, I just realized how small and insignificant I am. Flying in space is nice and peaceful. That is a raging storm, and it's only technology that's keeping me from not dying at the moment. So you are making your way into that facility and seeing all that stuff happen. Few people are around the room having conversations. They're dressed far better than the people out there. Still in futuristic, spacey kind of clothing, but much more executive-looking outfits, right? Sharper colors, sharper designs. When you guys walk in here, this is where, for the first time ever, people actually notice you. They're like really like, huh. You know what I mean? But the person that they look at the most strangely out of all of you is Carmine.
Yeah, I figured.
Yep.
You don't belong in the executive suite, Carmine.
I'm just following the people I'm here to protect.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a reason to be here.
So you make your way into the facility, yay, and while you're in there, so as you guys go walking in, they kind of like look up and notice you guys. Somebody kind of buttons off their conversation. So as you like walk in, start taking in the sights, maybe think about approaching somebody. And again, there are several doors that go off, clearly conference rooms and whatnot. The room that you're currently standing in is not meant to be a conference room, but people are here having conversations and whatnot. You can see little signs that tell you like where the cafeteria is, et cetera, et cetera. So one person looks over, looks back, starts speaking more quickly, looks over, looks back, and just like buttons off their conversation and starts making their way over. Quickly at first, and then at a much more cool and relaxed pace as they get closer. Is anybody standing closer to this person than anyone else? Somebody that would be the obvious point to approach. Okay.
I imagine it would be me and Sid leading, and
Yeah.
Sid is a human.
So approaching Icarus and completely ignoring Icarus and Sid and bringing the full attention to Sid, the person walks up and says, pardon, what is it that your group is doing here? For what reason?
Hi, we're actually part of a scientific mission right now. We're planning to scan the planet. We just want a little more information on it. By any chance, would you know if this planet was a white dwarf remnant, the hydrogen evaporate, or any information like that? Or could you point us to anybody that might know that information?
Oh, a research team. Were you sent here by the Alliance?
We have been hired by a private contractor. This is our Turian consultant. My bodyguard in case pirates or the like. Are there any pirates here? I've never been to the system before.
No. Nothing like that. Arcturus is one of the safest systems, at least in certain regions, certainly around Silva, Benning, and the like. There's no kind of activity like that around here.
Better safe than sorry. Hire them just in case.
I completely understand when you're handling private contractors. There are a different assortment that you could get if you were to go with the Alliance itself. Listen, I'd be more than happy to facilitate this process for you. If you come with me, I'll just bring you over to the engineering area. They would be much more suited for answering these questions for you.
Oh, thank you. And can I have your name?
Oh, yes, absolutely. My name is Paul John.
Excuse me, but who is in charge of this operation?
Well, they are indisposed at the moment. But are you looking for the CEO?
I suppose I am.
Okay. Well, his name is Constance, and he is in the office that is down this hall over here. And you would do well to avoid him. He is not in a good mood.
Ha 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 ha.
You might need to have that looked at. Says looking to Sid.
You see me just shrugging from the back. So, I don't know.
So
It's exactly that like bad canned laughter.
there is
It's
another.
ripped right from Big Bang Theory.
There's another route for you to get there. You see, if you go back this way, you just head back out the door you came, take a right. You know what? It'd just be easier if you follow me this way. And he turns and starts walking through the executive area. Occasionally, people will like toss like an eyebrow at him, and he just does like a corner of the mouth smile, like, "Yep, I'm handling it."
He's getting Employee of the Week.
Yeah. So, you guys go walking through or trudging through with your muddy boots. I'm kidding, it's space. Did you ever notice that Jane always had muddy boots? Doesn't matter. You make your way.
Well, they always went to
muddy
muddy planets.
Yeah.
In fact, they literally went once to a mud planet.
I know, I love that episode. Jane. No. So, you guys make your way through this area. Honestly, when you looked at the plan before, you didn't realize that the size of this area was as big as it is. Because, just a quick overview of the depth. This actual one section of the station is 3 stories in and of itself. And you come to realize all 3 stories are completely encased in some type of glass. Not any form of metal structure whatsoever. So it is all exposed to see the elements outside. You make your way over to the area where the elevator is situated. brings you over to it and says, "This elevator will bring you directly down to the engineering area. Please feel free to ask them any questions that you might have. And if you do have any more questions, you know what? He goes over to Sid and kind of tosses to Sid his contact information. Just feel free to drop me a message."
Oh, thank you.
Of course. Please be on your way. And then like one of those like presses the button. Whoever is the most perceptive of you, honestly doesn't matter. As soon as the elevator door is like almost completely shut, you can see him be like, ugh. The door shuts. And
How long was that walk, by the way?
about 2 minutes.
Sid would be not prying for information, but asking questions that sound scientifical with big words that she learned on Space Wikipedia.
Okay, I'm sorry. What kind of information was that? So sorry.
So she's going to be asking about basically, are they going for pure helium, or are they going for H3? Are there any odd particles that they found? What's their outtake?
Helium before you got here.
Specifically, it's helium-3 that they're like anything else that they picked up along the way that's marketable. They do sell. Like for instance, Earth is pretty much out of helium, or even completely out of helium at this point on Earth in this timeline. So of course things like helium are always wonderful because you need them for birthday balloons back on Earth. But it's actually helium-3 is the goal, and that's for clean fusion. You know what I mean? That's obviously that's their big mining thing. That's why most of the gas giants are mined.
But it's kind of, she's sneaking in those questions of what has your output been consistent? Has it?
Says, we're he goes, yes, I know. Of course, the extranet always likes to run with their stories, don't they? Oh, our production has dipped considerably. We are the planet's running out of resources. We're already starting to begin the phases of breaking down the station to have it transported to elsewhere. Not yet. We've got another 2 years or so, but the pre-planning phase to do so. And I believe the company has already decided which planet all this stuff is going. Of course, the employees, most of them are going to have to be laid off, but I'm sure if they were productive enough, they're going to be rehired in the future. We'll always have more projects. We always take care of our own. Know what I'm saying?
Well, all those transport companies. I mean, I met with Adam upstairs. They seem to be doing fairly well.
I don't know who Adam is, but the transport companies will always find work where they can find it. There's always a deal to be had. So, we've cut them deals, and they've made money here, and they've got deals elsewhere. So, they have no reason to ever be concerned about their business.
I don't know what other questions to ask that I can pry information out of this guy from.
It's definitely been 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
we're probably at the alley by now.
And then my sound effects are awesome. You love them. It's the sound of an elevator going down the shaft. Eventually you get down below, and the door opens up. It is very different down here. It was always clean in the office area before, and it was pristine in the area there. That was up in that area there, all glass and beautiful. Down here, it is not clean. It is not pristine, though there is still a good amount of glass. It's actually nifty. Down here, all the grounds that you walk on, pretty much that entire area, while having various bits of metal bars to reinforce and keep it safe. And you can obviously see that the mechanisms that would make it for snap-shut doors and force doors, if like fields and whatnot, to be set up if need be, should like any of the glass break. That all looks down. Nothing looks out. They don't care about looking out whatsoever. So there's no glass on the walls whatsoever. Certainly nothing up above. Just down below, so they can see like the planet, because they're literally watching the storm with their eyes. Because as much as you use machinery, there's always a degree of human factor or sentient factor that's involved when doing any form of work, right? So they leave that open so they can actually keep an eye on the storm and make judgments from there. But the people down here, the walls themselves have like smudges on them. They're a bit dirty. There's dust leading everywhere. It is not the cleanest of places. As soon as you go down there, the air even smells a little different. Like this is where the helium is taken and pulled in and harvested. There must have been a few leaks at some point, because you can all already taste that slight taste that helium leaves in your mouth. It's one of those things where it's like, helium's a poisonous gas. You know, like breathing too much helium, certainly over a long period of time, is not a good thing. It's not. Like, do not breathe in balloons, kids. It's bad for you. And you can get that taste in your mouth, like you have just inhaled a balloon and sounded like you represented the Lollipop Guild, right? So as soon as you guys go down there, the doors open up. You see this. The people that are down there, all like very obviously, unlike before, everything was subtle, just straight up ignored. You looked up, and one of the people's like, "Hey, what you lot doing here?"
I guess it's my turn to talk. I was about to take a drink. Hey,
You're the
scientific
face.
team. Point us to whoever we can ask questions to.
Ask questions. Well, you can ask me questions. I'm not the one in charge, but I can answer some stuff for you. Like, for instance, I could answer your question with this question: what you lot doing here?
We are a team on a scientific vessel who's scanning the planet, and we are asking for any information about the mining on the planet that would help with our research.
Oh, research team, huh? Okay, research team. It's a lot of guns for a research team. And so one of the other guys kind of like is holding a wrench, like gives him a tap in like the back of his arm with the wrench. He's like, ah, and he's like, what? It's a lot of guns. He's like, no, just. And he's like,
Research can be dangerous.
Yeah, it was my first time to the system. I wasn't sure if there were any piracy problems. One of the guys upstairs assured me it better to overspend than to be airlocked by a pirate.
You know how private contractors are. They
oh,
want to be sure of their investment.
yeah. There's all different types of pirates, right? You know, there's the pirates on the boats with the eye patch, and then there's the pirates in the suits that take your job. You know, all sorts of pirates. Let me show you the person that can answer your questions. He says, like,
Constantine just looks confused at that reference.
Yeah, so the it's like, yes, I understand that obvious reference that you made just now.
oh,
Well, when we walk, I was like, are there any of the pirates in suits here? Or with eye patches? But clearly, like, leaning in. But he doesn't lean in, because that would be very weird.
what? I was going to say, you just go like,
Yeah.
like T-Rex
Nah.
next to him.
But I guess he would say it quieter.
Yeah, quiet.
So
he'll do like a double
this
take.
guy's walking us. Oh, he's doing a double. Sorry.
So he
I
does like a
already
double
asked
take, looking at the fact that it's Ichlis that had said that to him, like the droid asked me, or the robot asked the VI, and says, well, you know, kinda a thing, you know, but what are you gonna do,
Constance?
right? Constance, what?
Yeah, we heard he's a little bit of a pirate.
No. Listen, I should just, you know, sorry about that. And he actually goes over and will knock on, like, he's, you know, holding something. He, like, taps metal on metal loudly on a door. In which case, you know, the door opens up a few moments later on. And the person standing before you is a woman. She clearly, but you can tell by the clothing that she has, again, human. You can tell clearly by the clothing that she has that she is a person that's in charge down here. He has like a couple extra, you know, designs or whatever on the outfit. But is definitely in like workers' clothes. Somebody's going to get dirty. There's stains on it and stuff like that. So the door opens up and she's like, hello. How can I help you? They came down to ask questions, science team. I don't know. Getting back to work. Sorry, miss. And he turns and walks back. And she's like, I'm sorry. You are?
Sid Mack.
Sid, and you've got
This is
some
my bodyguard.
bodyguards with you?
This is our Turian consultant, and this is my personal VI.
Turian consultant. What are you consulting?
That is unfortunately, well, you understand the business.
Private contractors, you know how they are.
Yeah. I'm sorry. No, because we're actually in a debate in here over the application of helium-3 and, you know, just how it is that you need to heat it up to get the best. Are you a scientist as well? She says, like, gesturing to Constantinia and Sid.
No.
I believe she's on leave from the Turian military at the moment to assist us with our research. We're actually looking for specific particles in helium and gas giants.
maybe you could be of assistance to me and me to you. Please come in. And lets you guys come in, lets the door shut. You can actually see there is a Solarian that's in there sitting at the table. One eye blinks. A couple seconds later, another eye blinks as it looks at you. Specifically, Constantinia and what's your name there? Icarus, roll for me an intelligence, charisma. Sorry, a lore charisma check. Okay, Constantinia, you're able to identify that it is a female Solarian. Not that it matters, but you can't usually tell, and certainly the human.
Wow, that's rare.
That
I mean, you
does
say that
matter.
doesn't really matter, but
That really matters. That matters a
it
lot.
kind of does, yeah.
A female Solarian's rare.
Unless Scott forgot the law.
Female Solarians are different than typical, than the male Solarians, which are usually out there. It's female Solarians.
And they always
single.
have a higher social standing just because of who they are. So it's a huge deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Not many of them.
They don't know that they're humans. One was in a hole for her whole life.
Yeah.
So anyways,
That's true.
when you go in and you see that there's a female Solarian sitting there across from her, she says, "I'm so sorry. I was being rude. My name is Barbara." And she goes to shake your hand, Sid, and then to the other two as well. Doesn't regard Icarus, of course.
Yeah, Icarus just literally goes to stand in the corner and look at the room.
So you said you're searching for a particular particle. Comes over and sits down. She goes over and sits down and gestures for other chairs at the table. There are several other chairs at the table. Icarus could try to sit down, but I imagine that
He's not going to try and sit down.
So
He's
People
never
would
been in a
admit that
chair
the
in his
robot, like,
life.
What's the robot doing? He thinks he's people.
Get down.
So you guys go and take a seat.
Yep.
Okay. So she says, "Please come over and sit down."
I think Sid's a little fascinated. She might be gawking a bit at the Solarian. Has never seen one before.
She went, noticing that you're like gawking at her. She says, "Hello, my name is Lapip."
Mind my manners. I've actually never seen one of your people before. It's a pleasure to meet you. And puts hand out.
Looks at your hands, blink, 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 and then will shake your hand and says, "Pleasure to meet you as well." And looks over to the others and says, "I see you brought X Alliance with you, and we'll reach out to grab your hands, Carmine."
I'll go shake hands.
Okay, that is a much more firm grip than I would have expected for somebody like you. And then turns to Constantinia and says, "And you're on leave. This is quite the outfitted group. Looks like you're ready for war."
Private
Pirates.
contractors, you know how they are.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, there's an awkward pause and then we all speak at once.
Yeah. Which is wonderful because it's perfectly awkward, right? So, watching this happen, and like once again, it's like a blink, blink, blink. Barbara kind of picks up the cues off of Lapip and says, like, turns and says, "You're not here as scientists, are you?"
No, we're here to actually scan the planet.
Okay. Is that the only reason why you're here?
Yes.
Really?
Sid is going to actually pull up the information from their last scan with the specific information on the particle that they are looking for. It's like, this is actually exactly what we're looking for.
I mean, Icarus hasn't told you guys about that yet, but let's say he did.
Oh, I thought we...
No, he
sorry.
actually hadn't.
I thought we all did.
I was going to bring it up when we were leaving.
Yeah.
But
Sorry,
sure,
I didn't
let's say
know.
he did.
Well, I thought because all you wanted it to be like an RP thing, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's fine.
Oh, no, that's my mistake, Ollie. I thought we all...
It's a good reason to be here, but he hasn't told anyone about it yet
You know what,
because you were busy with things.
We can explain this,
Let's
which would be funny.
Zoom it back a bit.
You actually don't know. Maybe the one person that does know what this is Sid, because Sid was like, "Oh, you're gonna mess with my shit."
You
are
also were helping make the maintenance thing, so maybe you did know. I mean, it's up to you.
I mean, I
You
thought...
guys were literally
that's why
stuck
we
on the ship
went to the other
scanning for a
planet.
couple of days
Yeah,
while
exactly.
we were off
We-
buying guns and stuff.
We were together, so I don't mind.
Yeah, we'll say Sid does know.
That was open information.
So go ahead, you do that. So the other two just have no idea what you're talking about, but go ahead, Sid, you do that. So you go specifically this particle. So she takes the thing, she looks at the scan, and she says, wow, this is an incredibly thorough scan. However, I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like this particle, I can see, like kind of like looking her out. She's like, it makes sense just as a brief glance. Like mathematically, it makes sense. But I've never come across this before in my life. And hands it over to Lepip. Lepip takes it and says, "Huh, this is curious. How is it that you've come across the existence of this particle?"
Well, that would be from our contractor. Once again, it's, I would say, paramilitary contracting. I can't go much more into that, but it's basically they believe that this particle is an ancient particle that's only found on specific gas giants, and we're trying to narrow down which specific gas giants those might be, or if it might be on all gas giants.
This is Solarian folklore. When I was a young Solarian growing up, and I was going through my trainings to become a scientist and I explore the stars and bring what it is I can back to my community. This was one of the particles that we learned about in one of our classes. It's a bit of a folklore and something that we really learn to kind of avoid and ignore as a joke, reaching too far for the stars, because it's something that you can spend an entire lifetime looking for and never find. So it's kind of funny that a human is the one that's looking for it, because this is not something that you would typically be seeking after, or something that I've ever known of a human finding before.
There is usually some truth to folklore.
So when you say that, it's actually Barbara that responds and says, well, that's definitely true when it comes to human folklore. I don't know when it comes to Solarian folklore. You just get like a blink, blink, blink.
Sorry, I'm watching Frank blink. It's funny to me.
Oh, I can't see it. He's too small for me. I can't see it. So anyways.
Don't make fun of a Solarian.
So, it's rude, Sid. It's rude. She's blinking back at you.
Sid's already talking even faster to the Solarian, and there's eventually going to just accelerate, vibrate, and go through the world.
Both Sid and the Solarian just start vibrating because the darkness pass, and everything just explodes. All the healing goes. All fire now. It's a new sun.
So you is that working? You are so she's looking at the scene as like awkward silence over for a few moments. She goes, so you're here to see if we have any record of these particles. No, we don't have record of these particles. I'll be honest with you, I don't even know if our scanning equipment could pick up something like this. This is not, our equipment is specifically designed for finding the best areas of the helium-3, the deepest pockets of it, and how it is to procure that. It is possible that it exists here, but so your only reason for being here is to scan the planet, and you were just looking for permission to do so?
Essentially, we're also just essentially trying to get more information on the planet itself so that we can narrow down, well, other planets that this particle might be on. Why else would it be here?
Well, if that's the case, honestly, the scans that we make to the planet, something like that is certainly, like some of the information we have to release publicly to the Alliance, and you can contact the Alliance. Honestly, it's just a little bit of paperwork, and they'll release all that information to you freely, as long as you submit the paperwork. The more detailed, trade-oriented bits, that's company property, and you would have to make some sort of bargain with the company to acquire that information for yourself. I would love to help another scientist out. Those are the rules, though. But if you're just here to scan the planet and you're looking for authorization, I can grant you that authorization. Take me a couple of click-clacks on the computer over there, and I can make that happen for you. I would just ask for professional courtesy. If you do find anything of interest, anything of note, please just toss it my way. But other than that, I mean, you're more than welcome to scan the planet.
Oh, well, thank you kindly.
So again, Lepip is just kind of like watching this whole thing happen. Doesn't say anything else at this point, and just kind of like once again just watching, and just keeps like gauging, like clearly watching each one of you with intent. Anybody that's really sat at a table before with a Solarian and knows, Solarian their minds go incredibly fast compared to others. So like while you could just be sitting there and saying a sentence, they've already analyzed every part of your body, and now they're like overthinking and overanalyzing and coming up with all these hypotheses of everything that could pertain to you, because their brains just can't sit still. They get bored, and they live too short. So she's just quietly watching the three of you, but then her attention actually turns over to Icarus. And at this point, she's going to say, "It's a bit strange, isn't it? You have a worker droid here, a worker VI. Why wouldn't you have something that's more suited for the jobs that you're trying to do?"
Because I like him.
I belong to her.
It's not very efficient. Would you be better off with a better carapace?
Humans do not care for efficiency as much as they say they do.
The shell of your body is standard for the Citadel. I can see that clearly, but it doesn't seem as though your craft or your VI, the interface is not something that you would typically find off that of a human.
You are astute.
I can't put my finger on it, but it is not of human make. You would be a bit more dull. Barbara kind
If Icarus could smile. Yeah.
Barbara's too.
That gets kind of like the raised, like, sort of stand up a bit taller sort of thing. He finds that very amusing.
Barbara says, "Well, if there's nothing else, then I suppose I will give you the authorization, and hopefully in return you extend me that courtesy. But if you're not here for any other reasons, then I guess I would bid you a good day."
At this point, Carmine is going to lean in, like, "What you say? Like, you couldn't help but notice that we were quote unquote prepared for war. Like, you keep asking. It just got me wondering, like, what could be going on then?"
Don't be so crass.
There are a lot of things that happen in facilities like this. Obviously, we're harvesting as much as we can. We're working full time, and we have full production happening with the harvest that we have. And despite that, we're receiving far less funding on the books than we have. And so we're being told that the facility is going to be shut down. Myself and many of my workers are going to lose their jobs. Myself specifically because I was the one that had originally taken over this position, led this position, gave guarantees of the quality of production we would be able to have for X number of years. The company feels as though I've cost them more money than I've generated them, and so it's going to be a black mark on my record. I called in an old friend of mine, a colleague here, to give a second opinion, and I'm of course beholden to the company, and so I do what the company tells me to do. I in fact am not. I'm not beholden to the company in the least bit. As she said, I'm here as a bit of a consult. Says, giving a slight head nod over to Constantinia. Productivity is 100% as it was always beforehand, and all of our scans tell us that the planet is still fully capable of producing as much helium-3 as it was the past several years prior, and will continue for the next several years. However, that is not the reports that's going out to the greater company. It's not the reports that are being delivered to the Alliance, and why this is happening, we don't know. However, we do know that there has been a change of transportation ships that have come here and there, and I've taken this information and leaked it to the best I could to the Alliance, and of course we have not seen any response whatsoever from them, which is absolutely mind-boggling and goes to show you why it is that the humans should not be a part of the Citadel Council yet, and why it is that they're always going to be held back because of their stupidity. So the fact that you have showed up here, dressed as you are and armed as you are, claiming to be scientists, leads me to believe that no, you are not in fact scientists. You're here to solve a problem, perhaps privately contacted through the Alliance because they are too weak spines to handle the problem themselves.
Icarus just slowly turns his head at Sid and is like a weird.
I think
Carmine visibly smiles at the response.
Looks up at Icarus. It's like, oh shit, we're found out.
Am I off in the least bit in my assumptions here?
Sid drums her nails on the table. It's like, well, say you're correct. Then what?
Then perhaps we can work together.
Yeah, it's time to drop the pretense, Sid.
No, we're actually also scanning the planet. It's not pretense, guys.
No, Barbara chimes in and says, no, scanning the planet is a good idea. As a matter of fact, that makes a case for me.
Because it shows that there's still production of helium to the full extent.
Exactly that. So if you can scan the planet and prove what it is that I'm discussing, perhaps we can get things underway. And then, maybe in that time while you're scanning the planet, we can come to discover a few other things. How many of you are required for the scanning?
2.
How long does it take?
Couple days.
Couple days. So perhaps the 2 of you should go and scan the planet, and the other 2 of you should stay here as my guests as well. I know this is going to seem strange. It's going to raise suspicion, having several different off-world guests. However, perhaps one of you are a potential employer. I honestly don't care about what cloak and dagger explanation we come up with, but maybe we can come to find out what exactly is going on here, because honestly, I can't figure it out myself. I just know that I'm reporting numbers and getting different results sent higher up. I've tried to send a side message up the chain, and not only was it intercepted, it was also brought down upon me with quite the fury. So I'm in a tough spot right now.
Well, while we were on the way in, we couldn't help but notice that, well, there was a certain location where some of these reports were coming in from, and it looked like someone was doing either a rush job or a cover-up job. Now, we as outsiders of the company don't have any access to, like, the internals and whatever, but you might be able to figure out for us where these reports would be coming from. And that would possibly give us an angle on where to investigate.
There is one terminal in this facility that is creating security bypasses that underact everything else in the system, attempting to block such information, most likely because you already tried to leak it.
Can you show this to me, actually? Can you pull this up on here? And she actually will stand up and go over to her primary terminal while it's hard lined in, and says, "Can you pull this up for me, please?" Speaking to Icarus directly.
Yeah, if I can, then I will.
Okay,
I'll
so
beat you.
Icarus goes over and starts doing all that stuff and uploading the information. And she looks at it. She's like, "Oh, this access. Yeah, I actually do have password to access this. Excuse me one second." And she says, like, looking up at you, like, "Turn your sensors elsewhere."
Yeah, I'll actually turn the other way and say, I can also most likely get you better paperwork for why you 2 are still on the station.
She's she like kind of like nods to that, and of course you pick it up and then she's like, I'm sorry.
They removed your security, didn't they?
Yeah, it's no. My password still works. If it didn't, that'd be a concern. Look at this, she says, gesturing to the computer, and you actually see, and it has pinpointed down the terminal that these messages are being sent from is the terminal that's currently being accessed. She's like, "It's saying it's my computer. That is not accurate." She says, like, almost like pleadingly, like, that is not accurate.
There's actually a push and then a lean, and then I am going to attempt to find where this terminal has been hacked, like a back door or whatever.
There you go. So you're gonna try to more or less find out where it was routed to this terminal from. Okay. Make me your decryption check, sir. Are you going to invest any of your investments into investing?
Not yet.
Okay.
My defeat security I can do after I failed.
Okay. I was referring to if you wanted to make yourself wicked smart.
Yeah, I know. I can make myself smarter. The plan is just to defeat security, though.
Perfect.
This doesn't work. I'm going to defeat security. I'm going to spend 1 processing. Like, it's one of those things where, obviously it was such a good job. I whir and heat up.
Yep.
Actually, no, I don't. This would be the ship. The ship, if you were in it. Oh, it's getting warm in that in that right corner.
Someone on the docking base is looking. It's like
There's like the vents are just like.
Why is the engine on?
So this is what happens. Okay? Icarus leans in, starts like typing away at the computer or whatnot, and then you actually hear like I don't think Icarus cusses or anything, but maybe like a whir or something that you've never heard Icarus make. So it's like a concerning sound, and then like a little port opens up in like the center of Icarus's like hand. Instead of using the keyboard, it plugs into a jack, and then you start to see Icarus like really blasting through the computer really quickly. All sorts of code are like jumping around. The screen is flickering. And
If she's
changing
ever
between
looked
the
at porn
screens.
on this computer, I know.
Coincidentally, she's into. Never mind. So, however, Frank, all of a sudden, Sid's Omnitool. The party bought you an Omnitool, didn't they?
Yes.
Yes.
The
So
engineer.
Sid's Omnitool.
Engineers, yeah.
That's right. Lights up, and all of a sudden you see like like a warning sign on your ship comes on, and you can see that there's a portion of your ship that is overheating incredibly so. It's like, what the hell is that? It's over in like the sensors bay. It's like really, really lighting up. Do you say anything or?
That button. Dylan, could you?
Dylan isn't on our ship.
Oh, I thought he was still on the ship.
No,
we
he
got
was
rid
just
of him.
helping us fix it while we were still there.
Yeah.
So it's overheating.
That one's in it.
By how much?
Nothing to a dangerous level. It's just like the temperature just literally jumped by about 45 degrees over the course
it
of the
just
past
happens
minute.
to be a temperature anomaly.
So it's not going to be any danger, right?
No, it's just a concern
Okay.
that it
Yeah,
happens.
just an anomaly.
Yep. Okay. So, anyways, eventually you crack through the code, and you actually, because of the fact that you use that processing, you find out that it wasn't this terminal. It was nope, and eventually you're able to trace back to the original code, and it actually is coming from Constance's office.
What is
Your terminal has been turned into a botnet. Is part of a larger network. It's been bounced around. They're trying to place it on you. It is from your glorious leader, Constance. And then there's like almost like a pause. It's like, that is what the computer is telling me. And then like stands up and steps away.
So she thinks for a couple minutes, and she's like, that mother. He's the one that had discovered my message that I had sent out beforehand, and like I said, he brought the message down on me. I got a warning, like that my name would be destroyed forever. I would never be able to find work again if I spoke out again. I couldn't even go to any of the news networks about what's going on. I mean, is it the right thing to do? But it's also my future. Do I sound like a terrible person? She says, like seeming like very like defensive.
If we bring this to light and we resolve the situation, your cooperation will be commended.
She kind of like thinking upon that, nods to herself, like regaining assurance of what it was that you had said.
Now, what can you tell us about this Constance?
I've worked under him for a few years now. He's just a businessman. He keeps to himself. He keeps to his types. They have their communications. I mean, lately there's been some changes in how it is that the company has been doing stuff. They've had different businesses have been doing transportation lately, but I don't really know anything about them. The people that he's been meeting with, they're a little bit different, but they're all predominantly human, like they've always been. The same Volus does most of the transportation to the further reaches of the galaxy, same as it's always been. You know, one of the groups is, and this is actually where LePip chimes in, and she says, before the reason why she says, before I point out the fact that you are obviously an ex-Alliance member. The reason why I mentioned this is because there are other people that have been doing these transportation bits lately that also carry themselves very similar to the way that you do. They also carry themselves like they are members of the Alliance, but clearly are not members of the Alliance. We think that this has something to do with what has been going on. Seemingly former members of the Alliance coming in and doing these transportations.
Are they working under a company?
Yes. However, I've looked into that company, and it's a shell. It's not real.
Right, so our dear friend brings in new transport crews.
That's not.
Or-
I really hate to say this. That's not uncommon, though. Sometimes you use transport companies that are shell companies of others because of how it is they work out their deals. This one just seems different. because of the people that are involved in it. You know what
I'm just saying,
saying?
shady people for a shell company after it is discovered internally that productivity's down, and then efforts are made to get the person who made said discovery thrown under a bus.
Well, one of those members happens to be here now. Is it Carmine, you said?
Yes.
Carmine, maybe you can go and talk with them and see if you can find something out. I mean, you kind of seem like one of them.
I did serve with the Alliance for a while before having some differences of opinion.
I will go with you.
I thought you were going to scan the planet.
There's like a pause. I would very much like to talk with this individual. I may be able to hack their information. They are unlikely to use words, but their data points will not lie.
It shouldn't delay the scanning of the planet for too long.
She shrugs and says, I know nothing about dealing with this kind of stuff. It's up to you as to what you think is best. Constantinia, you're welcome to stay here. I would love to at least hear your perspective of all these things.
Very well.
And so we can kind of we'll take our next break with the party breaking up. When we come back, it sounds like Carmine and the bot are going to go and speak to this one person that happens to be a member of this transportation group. Sid is going to twiddle her thumbs, probably power up the engine, go check on the ship, make sure things are
The plan is that after this, I go and scan.
There's something wrong on the ship that Sid needs to go check. It's called overheating for some reason.
What is that?
Overheating?
Yeah. All right, so we'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Heating?
Be right
What
back.
is heating?
Sudden Tiorma Summer Syndrome.
Hey, there's been a crazy number of bit drops that have happened today. I just want to tell everybody thank you so much. I genuinely appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Do I woo girl? Do I do like a woo? Yeah, I woo girled. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to what is this, like corporate espionage?
No, this is the bit where we start shooting people.
Soon. So, you guys go walking up to go find this individual. She tells you where it is that they usually hang out. Because of the fact that this is a facility that exists on this planet, they do actually have like a gym here. They have a cafeteria here and stuff like that. So the person that you're actually going to go find is, in fact, at the gym.
I was so hoping this ex-military dude, we meet him at the gym.
Yes.
Are we gonna do like a Paragon Renegade pull-up thing?
Yeah. We go up to him.
Just hit like 180 buttons.
He's like shirtless, not even armored.
Yeah. Well,
Ready.
so funny enough, they're tropes for a reason because they work, Holly.
Yeah. Well, I love me some tropes.
Okay,
Tropes are
but
grounded in like.
how many
facts.
military tattoos does this guy have?
Does he have a mum tattoo?
Actually, funny enough, none.
Oh.
No, not even his unit or
He's
branch
a babby.
is.
Well, let Scott describe the dude before we
Fine.
keep assuming.
I will judge him
Give
afterwards.
him tropes.
So, he as you guys go into the gym, there's like, it's one of those things where like she tells you, yeah, he usually spends time at the gym. To which Carmine probably like thinks, oh, I could hit the gym, I could, and Icarus laughs to himself. And you guys make your way into the gym. You look around, you can see the office workers, right? They're clearly the people. They're over on like the treadmill. They're over on the elliptical. Some of them got like the 5-pound weights and like, look at me, I'm staying in shape. And then there's that one office guy that's like, yeah, P90X, bro, I do this. But then there's the actual former military guy. You know who he is because he's off in the corner. He's not bothering anybody. He's just very obviously like, I have so much weight on this machine right here. So he's actually going over, so in the future, just like nowadays, you have machine assistant resistance type workout equipment. Things that are incredibly safe, so that even if you're like pushing your limits too far, the likelihood of doing permanent damage to your body is rather minimal. No. This is somebody that appreciates free weights, right? So he goes over, he's got literally the bench press going on. The amount of weight that he has on there is one of those like, holy crap, why are you doing that? When you see the guy...
Does he have a spotter?
No. He does not. So when you go over, you see that this guy is... so he's from the waist down. He's wearing, you can clearly tell, like, whatever type of uniform he would typically wear. It actually looks like civilian-style armor for, like, the worlds that have, like, a lot of conflict. So not quite illicit, but type of armor that could be powered up with shields if the charge was sent through them. He is not wearing anything from the waist up. He's shirtless. He's got like a sweatband on his wrists because, of course, he's lifting weights. He's very jacked. He's well-toned, so on and so forth. But he doesn't have any tattoos whatsoever on his body. However, you do see marks on his body where he's clearly survived like bullet wounds. Now, when we talk about bullet wounds in Mass Effect, we're not talking about, oh, look at this, I shot you with a 9mm. No. These are like bullet wounds from Mass Effect. Luckily, armor and stuff like that would be able to reduce them. So bullet wounds don't usually go into your body. They're like super hard hits that leave permanent damage on the surface of your body because of like how it is that your armor absorbs the kinetic energy of it, right? So anyways... you can see that clearly he's gotten in quite a bit of fights. He's over there so he's over there benching a considerable amount of weight. And as you guys are walking up, he's counting. So you count. Probably Icarus counts everything, but Carmine, you count as you're going in, and he's doing up to 15 reps. So as you like approach, he finishes his 15th rep and lets the thing kind of clank on the machine. Leans up, grabs the towel to like wipe off his hands and his face, and then he looks up to see you guys who have approached him. Right? Now, do you say anything as you approach? Do you say anything as he's standing there, or do you allow him to speak first?
I will nod at the weights and go, not bad. Need a spotter?
Looks back at the bar, looks up at you. Clearly, it's a little bit of an ego test, the fact that you had offered that, and he says, yeah, get a couple more of the big weights. I'll take you.
All right.
So you go over and you grab the big weights. You kind of load them on. Now, Carmine's strength is a...
He is a strength 12 now.
Okay, strength
What?
12.
See, this is stronger than you?
I guess that's a yes. Sid is stronger than you. That's kind of funny. So,
I mean, Dex 18. He's always been more of a Dex than a pure strength guy.
of course. So you go over and you grab the weights. You usually like robotic side to pick it up at first. 2 hands go over, put the thing on, get the other one, put the thing on, and he looks you up and down and he says, "So you want to talk? Okay." And he'll like lie back down and get his shoulders positions. Take a sip of water or whatever. Is electrolyte filled water. And he lies back down, gets a good grip on the thing, stops for a second, cleans with the towel, gets his good grip, and he's like, "All right, go ahead." And gets it and starts doing it, his lifts as you start talking.
So, you do transport work around here since recently.
Yep.
And, how's that been working out for you?
Pretty well.
I can tell that you're ex-mill.
Yep.
Where'd you serve?
Better ask where I didn't.
Yeah, well, that's a familiar story. God. I'm so tired, I can't. I am bad at talking. Have you noticed? There was a whole season where I was bad at talking, and somehow I kept doing all the talking.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, you made a character that was all charisma.
I wanted to try it.
Yeah.
Mistakes were made, but...
So he finishes the reps, and he puts the thing back up. Like you said, you were spotting, so you help to like line it up and put it on safely for him. Or throw it down on him. What? I don't know what happened.
Strangle him to death. It was all an accident.
Took off his head. I don't know why. Somebody accidentally sharpens the inside. What? So
office accidents, you know how it goes.
So, you help him get the thing lined back up, puts it down, once again sits up, grabs a towel, wipes off his hand, wipes off his face, wipes off the bar, and he says to you, "All right, you're ex-military too, Alliance, right?
Yep.
You heard we're making a decent amount of money and you want in?"
A man can't help but wonder. There's been some weird stories around this place, office people. They start doing worse at their job, and suddenly they start blaming everyone else for their wrongdoings.
It's a song people have been singing for a long time. What's your poison?
Like weights? Or spicy like so?
No. What do? You do quad, reverie, tsunami? What you into?
Oh, I see. I do indulge in a bit of tsunami on occasion when people are really bothering me,
Huh? So, you think that you're good enough to join our team or something?
I reckon I would be, yeah.
I mean, I can tell you that you being X, why you out? What happened?
Disagreement with the Alliance. You know how it goes.
Over?
Methods, basically.
I get that. What methods? What you do?
Oh, some people, the higher-ups, they want to do everything proper and by the book. But such a rigid approach just doesn't work.
Is that why you bring a bot with you everywhere you go?
He helps to get into places where perhaps the Alliance wouldn't want to be seen openly.
So you were discharged because you didn't follow the rules?
Pretty much.
See, our group, we follow the rules. When a rule's made, you listen. You don't follow the rules, we don't need you. He lies back down to go grab the bar again.
Interesting. Of course, I only disagreed with their rules because I found their approach to be a bit interesting, but if your approach is the right approach, then I have no problem sticking by that.
As he's lifting, he stops at one point, like he's on number 6 or so, like, ugh. What's my approach?
I know, you tell me. I've been hearing a lot of interesting things around here.
With that, he's only on like number 9. He'll actually lift the thing up and like he'll go to balance it back on the bar. Do you help him? Get it back up.
Yeah, I'll help him.
Okay. put it back on. He'll sit up, wipe his face off, wipe his hands off, wipe the bar off, and say, "Who told you what?"
You know, people hear things and that. Reports being shady. Like I said, this bot can see things.
Yeah? See anything I should know about?
Well, if there's something you'd rather people don't know.
That's funny. You come to me with a job application. I turn you down. Instead, you try to blackmail your way in? Is that what's going on here?
Well, wouldn't do you very good business-wise if people were to find out you're doing shady stuff around here.
It's cute. It's cute. Alright. So you want to talk to the boss. You want to see what he's, if he's interested in hiring you. Alright. What qualifications do you think you bring to the table? You sniffed out one little thing because you got a bot to do the work for you? Why do you think we think you're qualified?
At this point, I take off my shirts and I show him the cybernetics.
So actually, you'll see, like, he'll actually like stare at that. That's not very common, cybernetic enhancements. They exist, but they're not super common. And so he'll actually notice that and see the enhancement. And then, like, after, like, you kind of... Were you getting ready to sit down? Were you going to press? With a lot less
Not
weight?
yet. I'm just giving him... just giving him the rundown.
I was gonna say, you'll see sit up there.
A ticket
like,
to the gun show.
So you take the shirt off. He sees a scrawny guy with, you know, it's like Edward Elric. You know what I mean? He's like, "Hey, I'm a little scrawny guy, but I got a six-pack and I got a metal arm." So anyways, so you take the shirt off and he sees the cybernetic. So he looks at, he nods for a second, like kind of like understanding a bit, and responds saying, "So is that it? Is that your drug?"
No, but they certainly help.
Uh-huh.
You know, a man can only do so much, but this helps in combat to be a little bit more frightening to people.
When you say that, he looks around at the other people in the gym, which are like looking at your arm and your shoulder and your back and all that stuff, and all like the cybernetics that are put inside there. And he's like, "Works. What rank you hit?" This is like funny answers to this question.
Yeah, like, are we going for the pre-death or the after-death?
That's your call, man.
Yeah, we're gonna go for the full E6. Staff sergeant, baby.
Yeah. Really? All right. I'll set up a meeting for him to talk to you. However, if you're gonna talk to him, the large bot does not need to be there. This thing, I won't lie, is a little creepy.
I will add the whole time it has just been staring at him.
Yep.
Nicholas doesn't actually usually do that. This is actually like interrogation mode, Spider-Man sort of thing.
So he's like, you can come with the bot's kind of creepy.
That's fair. He does have an effect on people.
He says, kind of like stands up. Clearly, he's finished with whatever it was he was doing. Grabs up his bottle that has his whatever juice he's drinking inside there, and says, "You'll be hearing from me." And starts making his way out the door.
I look forward to it.
Okay. And so concludes that meeting.
Well, when he leaves and when you go to leave, Ikelas will actually grab Carmine's arm, say, "You should not go to that meeting."
Oh, trust me, I wasn't planning to. But this is a start.
Good. And then let go and go back to the shop.
Cool. So you guys make your way back to the vessel. Carmine makes his way back to the vessel too. We can just assume Constantinia is there as well. So more or less grabbing the stuff that she would.
I kind of want to plan to break into that guy's office.
Oh sure, that's great. Then you're definitely at the vessel. Cool.
Mhm.
Awesome. So you guys go to the vessel. The Barbara and
The Barbara.
the Barbara
And
and LePip. Barbara and LePip don't come to the vessel with you. So the four of you are back there. Sid has already gone into the room. Sid, you went into where the heat sensor is. The heat's already starting to dissipate by the time you get there. But like you can see this piece of equipment that was put there by Icolas, like it's still kind of hot to the touch. It's one of those you can put your hand on it for a couple of seconds and take it off. The critical levels of heat have dropped considerably. This thing isn't harmed though. It's melted. Nothing that smells like burning. It's just very warm and dry in that room.
Sid's gonna see if she can figure out a way to basically make it more heat resistant or just better at expelling heat.
Sure. So you go to try to open the thing up to modify it?
Yeah, to modify it without... Probably not, open it up if it's, super secure shut.
It is.
How difficult would it be to get into it?
Honestly, Sid could probably open it up. Sid is a mechanic. But it would require, a little bit of effort. You know what I mean? It's not one of those, I'm just taking off screws.
Sure.
It's no, this is designed to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, Sid'll do it. See if she can improve it.
You get a ping, Icolas, saying that the processor is being breached.
So Icolas is walking with Carmine. For the first time, he actually goes into a run, a sprint, almost like a gorilla, and runs to the ship. And
do you let Carmine at any point know what's happening?
No.
Okay, there you go.
Sid's just trying to be nice.
Gonna chase after him, I guess.
Sid, it's such a pain in the ass. You finally get the panel off, and you look, and just the mess that you see in front of you. It's one of those things where it's a mess of pure organization. You know what I'm talking about? People go into your room and they're scared, but if you need a pair of socks, you just reach down and they're in your hand.
I know that.
Yeah, I
organized mess.
Too.
There's all my books within arm's reach, not in a bookshelf.
So you open the thing up and you see this pure, but it's more than just that. Everything inside here, it's not okay, these are clearly human components. You're these are clearly human components. These are clearly Solarian components that you know from your home world. There are also other things in here that you don't get. There are wires that you understand, other wires that you don't. This thing is so baffling. So when you open the thing up finally, and you're able to look inside and see how crazy it is, all of a sudden you hear ta-ting, 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 getting louder and louder as Icolas runs through the ship to come up to the processor.
Probably followed shortly after by me, because I have no idea why he's running, but that's probably a good sign.
Sid's just gonna say, hey, your things are overheating, right?
You don't want to do that.
I'm just gonna
put it down. Step away.
I mean, I'm just gonna put a heatsink on it.
It already has a heat sink. Has multiple heat sinks. It's designed to overheat. And it's not for
efficient.
your eyes. Will actually push you away. And this is not delicate. This is like a kind of push.
All right, Carmine, I won't touch your box again.
It isn't even my box.
And then
she's insulting Carmine about your guns.
Yeah.
And then he'll fix it back up again.
Okay. It's literally one of those things where it took Sid, first time handling it, a while to remove this kind of plate, because again, it's not a human design whatsoever. It's a very strange, complex plate. When Icolas goes over and does, it's kind of like one of those, and it's in place, and then just grabs the screws and...
It's all very efficient when you're a robot.
Yeah. So, and it's all put back together nice and easily. As you guys are kind of that moment is happening, where there's a little bit of tension in the air, this is when Constantina can kind of walk into the room with the realization of exactly what her plan is. I'm sure she had the realization before, but approaching you guys, getting your attention. So Constantina, you can, mind you, if you're curious as to where you are on the ship, on the bottom right-hand corner of the ship, over in the sensors area, the sensor array.
My room.
Yeah.
What was that boss's name again? Was it Constance?
Constance. Yep.
Constance.
Okay. I'm going to ask.
Usually a woman's name in human culture, but.
Is it?
You know, it's the
Doesn't have
future.
constants.
I'm gonna ask Ikelis if the signals were coming from like his office space in particular.
Yes, and so were the security protocols, the new ones, secret ones.
Okay, then I propose we break into the office.
You need a hand with that, or do you prefer to go solo?
I will need a hand extracting the technology. Is there a way you can do that remotely? Like if I attach them to their computers, would you be able to gain access to it?
Ooh, can we do that, Scott?
Potentially.
We can do that with our technology in the modern day. So if you're trying to tell me we can't do that in a futuristic sci-fi setting,
No. Erin, it's a
give you
matter
a
of
look.
security features.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a matter of.
But we have a hacking robot.
Yes. So,
We have
so
technology.
potentially you could do exactly what she's requiring. It depends on, of course, the firewalls and everything that are there. So again, remember, this facility was originally designed with anti-espionage stuff. So that actually is built into the framework of that kind of thing. It's the other thing that was the added part, which would also potentially be tripped by this too. So you're dealing with two different types of security features. But yes, it is possible.
It is possible. I would not do best in sneaking, but if you can uplink me.
Okay. Carmine, are you adept at sneaking and not just killing?
I know my way around.
I don't really want to hurt anyone on this mission.
Understandable.
And that means you're gonna kill so many people.
I mean, I can be quiet.
I believe there are some people on this station who who deserve to be dead.
Well,
It's a little frightening.
What did you
to have
guys
a
find
robot. Like if my cell phone was suddenly like, I do believe a few people deserve to die, I'd be like, whoa,
okay.
whoa. You know, just
Calm
saying.
down, Skynet.
Damn it, Siri!
No. I could ask her, hey Siri,
Her too.
do some people deserve to die?
Here's what I found on the web for do some people deserve to die. Have a look.
Well, something
Have a
about,
look.
Yeah, something about hating Christensen. I don't know.
I guess that's ask again later.
Yeah,
Not just the men, but the women and children too.
yeah. All right. So,
So,
anyways,
were you able to infiltrate the organization?
I was able to set up a face-to-face meeting with their leader after hinting at my past. And, of course, the cybernetics.
That probably helped.
So we can call it Plan B.
Yes.
Do you trust them? Well, to not kill you.
No,
Probably shouldn't go to the meeting.
I wasn't planning to.
I mean, not alone.
I mean, I'm glad you're all concerned, but I can handle myself.
I am not concerned about you.
I'm concerned more about them coming after us.
There's actually a nod.
We don't have a working gun. That complicates matters a bit.
Okay. So let's work out how we're going to sneak into this building.
Okay, so going over to the situation room, or the meeting room area that you guys have, working with the parts of it that actually function, you're able to throw up the schematics of the entire facility in front of you. Looking at those schematics, seeing the easiest way, obviously the most direct way into his room is go through the executive area, walk up to his door, and walk right in. You do know that, as I said beforehand, when you're walking through there, he's at the end of a hallway. That hallway is all his area, like that's where his meetings take place in that hallway, where it is that he eats his luncheon takes place in that hallway. Like that is more or less his executive area that you're only welcome to go in when you're that you're only there when you're welcome to be there. There's always of course a guard at the edge of that hallway to stop people from just going in and out of it. But again, these are typical like guards for the executive place. They're not like, we've got these big old guns and we're gonna murder anybody come by. They're like, we've got stun guns and we're here just to make sure that nothing shady happens. So there's always a guard that stands at the end of the hallway. That is the most direct way to get there from within the facility, walking in, right? Now, if you wanted to go like, okay, let's think outside the hallway. As I said beforehand, there are 3 floors just in the executive area alone. He's, of course, on the top floor. If you go to the floor beneath him, there are offices down there as well. As a matter of fact, at the very ends, the area that's directly beneath where his room is happens to be where a large conference room is, because that happens to get like the best sight. It's kind of like balloons outwards somewhat, so it has like a beautiful, much like you saw for the Elusive Man, right? Balloons outwards and has this amazing view of the storms outside. So it's actually where one of the biggest conference room of this facility is, where people that are investing into the company or transporters, like the big meetings or whatever would happen, are right there. Theoretically, that's right beneath his place, so you can go up somehow from one to the other. Then there's always from the outside going in. But being outside of a facility on a gas giant is a little dangerous. You all do have suits that are designed to withstand all sorts of atmospheres. However, being on a gas giant, I believe, is a type 3 danger level. As opposed to type 1 danger levels, you can actually survive for many hours, if you're efficient enough, a few days on your with your suit against the atmosphere, right? With type 2, it's, hours down to hour, kind of depending on it. With a type 3 danger, you're talking minutes. You can survive out there for minutes before it starts to like break down the protective layers of your suit, and then you don't last much longer. Coincidentally, space, like the vacuum of space, is only a type 1. You can actually survive against the vacuum of space for potentially days if you're efficient enough with your suit. So anyways, yeah, the outside glass down, coming through the hallway are the direct walking into the building things, into the room things.
So I think the best way to go about this is for me to be in the building like we've been going in and out a lot, for me to find somewhere I can hide in there, wait until it's night or like a dude goes home, and then sneak down in.
Well, I could always run a distraction, see if I can draw him out of his office. Maybe say we work for a big company that he might get rich off of if we find the particle or whatever we're searching for in the clouds. Draw his attention away from you guys. Make him give me a professional tour.
That would put you directly in the line of danger. And the more moving parts you have on a plan like this, just like a machine, increases the chance of fault.
Like your little box?
My little box does not have moving parts.
And
they are mine. Do not touch my stuff.
Are we gonna have to put like child locks and everything for Sid?
Yes, obviously.
Constantina goes back around the ship to where all of her weapons are stashed. And it's like, really? And puts those like doorknob things on them.
No, Constantina shows Sid like where everything is, like just in case.
Yeah. And then puts child locks on them.
And then you go to like get it, and turns out there's just like a drink there instead.
Some juice bombs.
Some sippy cup.
I see. What is this? Carbon and what's HI? Carbon and helium? No. Chi.
I think the distraction is only a good plan if we cannot get him out of his office.
I could get him into his office.
I get what you're getting at.
The terminal goes directly to him. The alerts go directly to him.
So you want to trigger that on purpose?
I'm just saying it is an option.
It's one of the better options, although...
To what
I'm
end
not sure.
of him being in his office?
You tell me. You're the assassin.
Well, I don't intend on killing him. I intend on him just not being there when I go into his computer. Do you
I
want
have a way to get him there? I don't have a way to make him leave. Although I suppose there might be a way.
Office space. He will leave eventually. I'll just have to have eyes on him.
I might be able to contact his Omni tool and send a ping from somewhere else in the station. It's plausible.
That would work.
Okay.
So, what would you like to
What I would like to do, and you tell me how feasible this is, go back into the office space of that woman and the Solarian, find like a vent area I can go up into, and then make my way over to that conference room, which is immediately above or below his office.
Into which room, I'm sorry?
the conference area that's like immediately above or below his office.
Below his office. Yep.
Below his office. Wait there until he leaves, and then I can find a way to sneak up.
So, if you like announce this plan to her at all, because obviously she's a part of all this, please.
Yeah.
She would tell you, oh, well, I appreciate your wanting to go about it that way. I could just get you into that conference room. We could just hold a conference there, like just me and you conference. I have access to that room because I often have to hold meetings with my staff, and that's the best place to go.
Okay.
So would you like me to just bring you to the conference room then?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, sure. And so the plan would be to kind of get you there for at least that point in time. Sid and Icarus, you guys are going to start scanning the planet, right?
Ooh,
we wanna
I think we probably
this part?
shouldn't leave yet.
Yeah,
while the
there might be-
meeting's going on.
Quick escape needing.
Also, I want to hack his Omni tool.
Sid's going to be looking for an air conditioner.
Like an AC, like from like 19,
I mean,
95?
You want the ship to be cold.
A Mass
think everyone
Effect air
else has
conditioner?
the ship being colder. You're the one who probably cranks the AC, the heat up every
Yes,
time.
but it's going in your room to a temperature trigger. So when it exceeds the temperature, the air conditioner turns on.
So funny
That's
enough-
allowed. You do that without touching things.
Funny enough, that's actually an outside. That room is one of the external rooms, which means that it has access to
could
external
vent it.
vents. So you just be vented. Yeah. Just, it's
Oh,
literally
it's just going to be that up then.
like less than a fifth of a second of just venting and takes all the heat out, sort of a thing.
Oh, she's going to message Nicholas, be like, hey, does your thing need to run hot to be efficient?
It runs hot because it's efficient.
Just, okay, period. And start setting it up for vent this area and the heat exceeds
Yep, gotcha.
this level.
Okay, cool. So you're not going to go on your exploration.
Not gonna leave
Not
until after she comes back
Okay.
or is done.
So
Not
you're-
gonna leave her here to get shot.
She brings you to the executive area where you guys hit the conference room. That's right beneath his room, right? So she brings you to the area and walks in with you, and shuts the door once the place is cleared out or whatever. And this place again is beautiful. It's a huge conference room, glass everywhere, lots of seats, clearly a podium that can rise and lower, as well as lots of hall displays for all the types of reports and whatnot you give. You wish your ship worked this good. So, anyways, she says to you, "So from here, what's your plan?"
I'm gonna look around for like anywhere I can get up.
So the ceilings in here are a good distance up, like a solid 20-foot ceilings because you want to have like good sort of acoustics inside the room. However, there are of course like ladders and whatnot that she's like, oh, if you need to get to the ceiling, we have all sorts of materials that I can have brought up in here, maintenance materials. Would you like to have something brought here?
Yeah.
Sure. So she'll
Would you
go
have let Carmine know that you guys can just chill out in the conference room?
Yeah, no, I would have brought anybody who wanted to come.
Yeah, I would have been here then as like backup.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so they would actually go and get the materials. So the way it works is not really like it's a ladder. There's hooks that are in the ceiling that like kind of come down and run on tracks, and then there's like a suspension thing that goes for the employee. There's harnesses that they can hold. So if you're doing repairs on the ceiling, the harnesses would actually hold you lying backwards comfortably and hoist you up to the ceiling, so you can do work lying on your back without worrying about falling or being awkwardly positioned. It makes painting so much better. So that's like how it is that you're able to get up to the roof. You know what I mean? If you don't need a harness because of something like, for instance, what you're talking about, it actually almost looks like a scaffolding that you would use for window cleaning in modern days. We would hoist you up in almost like a little basket, and similar things jacked to the ceiling that can move around. So I imagine you would want the scaffolding, not the harness.
That's fine. Whatever we can I don't know. The harness seems like a little more inconspicuous, I guess.
It is
A little more. Yeah, so we'll do that.
Okay, and honestly, you could probably just go and rip the harness if you needed to.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so you get up to the ceiling. What's your planning? What you get to the ceiling?
Well, so yeah, I can get to the ceiling. That's fine and all. But I'm looking for like vents or like airways or whatnot, something I can climb into.
So there are vents that are up there. The thing is like the security features that go from that. So you go in, you open up the vent, and you go to like look inside. Do you actually want to crawl in there right now, or are you just looking?
I'm just gonna look.
Okay, so do me a favor. Roll for me a perception intelligence check, please.
Perception intelligence?
Please and thank you. You look up and you do see that there is, of course, the ventway, so the airways up there for the air to go through. You can hear like whirring and whatnot. You imagine there's fans along the way at some point because you can hear like the flow of air, but you can't see where any of that is. Not at least for where you are.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay. So that's it. That's all you're doing for now.
I'm gonna investigate further and climb in.
Okay. So you open up the harness. You're climbing into the hole and looking. So obviously your plan is to go up, not outwards. You want what way can I use to get up? Do me a favor. Roll me a perception intelligence check with a -1. Okay. So you continue traveling your way through, and you eventually do find what looks to be the vent that gets into the office. It will come in at the not his floor coming up from the floor, but like the lower near the base of the one of the walls going into his room, because of the fact that his outer wall is all looking at the storm. It's coming from one of the inner walls. There's a vent that's there. The problem is that vent is kind of small. So just kind of like seeing it from afar, that vent is kind of small. You're like, I would be hard pressed to fit through there. And if I'm wearing any form of armor, there's no way I'm going to be able to squeeze through that thing.
Gotcha. I'm gonna keep looking around.
Okay.
Other areas if I can.
Sure. So you don't go anywhere near the vent. You're just going to kind of like keep your distance.
No.
Okay. So you go looking around or whatever, trying to find out a way to do this. Searching around for a bit, you actually aren't able to find any other vents that are larger than. There's 3 of those that access this room that are all just as small.
So at this point, I'm gonna get on comms with the team and just say, I have an entryway into the room. I cannot get in there. And as I'm saying this will be like a little further like down the ways. Like I finished investigating. I realized no other way. So I'm gonna get in comms with them. I can't get up into the room. Is that going to be close enough for you, Icolas?
I assume I need to be plugged in
I mean,
through a like Omni tool or something.
The best bet that you have is that a Sid's Omni tool is one that can actually access from a distance.
Yep.
Sid's can actually like hard line in from not hard.
Well, unfortunately, that is on Sid.
Yes.
I mean, Sid just like replies. I mean, I can try.
It's like Sid can get up there, and whatnot. Sid's actually smaller than Constantinia too.
So I can sneak Sid up here. You can shove her through the vent. And hopefully get her out.
And this is where Sid dies again.
Just find the medic is standing like 6 feet away, just standing there in a meeting room with a lady just there like, nice weather, isn't it? Just pointing at a storming gas giants like, yeah.
No way that Sid could hook up like a snake wire to Icolas, snake it up into the vents.
It's actually called a line shunt. They exist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a wireless way of doing that. Yes. You just need somebody to actually go and physically plug that thing in for it to happen. Or is it called an uplink? It might be called an uplink, not a line.
What if we got like a really long container?
That's how it works. Yeah, it's called an uplink.
What if we make a little drone that Icolas can control?
That's a whole different kettle of beans. It's a whole different mess.
So we're gonna sneak it up in there.
I think sneaking sit up there is the best bet. I'll stay on the ship still, so I can survive.
Yeah, so somebody can escape.
I can warm up the ship when you guys need to leave.
Okay, so the three of you guys are hanging out in the conference room, waiting for this guy to leave the office for the day. She starts sneaking around looking for the best way into the office, finds out that it doesn't really work, and then it's like, we need to just shove Sid through this hole.
Yep. Icarus, you might want to be in the building connected to their system at the very least. Maybe you can get into their security to make sure we don't trigger anything.
That is wise, he says reluctantly and goes with Sid.
Come join the party, wipe.
Yeah, I guess we should all be together when you get arrested. I'm just a robot.
Sid is pessimistic about this. It's like, man, I'm gonna lose that 3 times payout.
Well, unfortunately, you are small.
I know.
Okay,
They're getting in places.
do you share this information with anybody else, or do you kind of keep it all to yourselves? This is now our task. We're jumping on it.
No,
Why wouldn't we
that's it.
share it with anyone else?
I don't even know
Who
why
else?
we would share this with anyone else.
The woman, I
Yeah,
guess.
the two ladies, yeah.
Well, then I assume one of them is in the meeting room, so she
Yeah.
would see them.
Yeah. She saw
Us
them,
walk
them
in.
crawling around, but she obviously doesn't know the full plan. She's just like, okay, I'm just going to hang back and pretend like I'm not seeing anything. Good. Corporate espionage.
Woo!
Okay.
Woo!
So
Literal espionage at this point.
where is Carmine hanging out? Is he just going to hang out in the conference room down below? Or is Carmine going to be elsewhere in the facility? Because I imagine that Icarus is just going to go to a terminal, probably in the common area of the station, and jack in from there. Or do you want to go down to the actual mechanical engineer's office and use that terminal? Like,
That's even further away. I guess I'd go to the common one because that's nearest to the ship.
okay, gotcha. Awesome.
I would probably stay near the meeting room because we're sneaking into the
Wait.
CEO's office. If there's going to be security response, it's probably going to be there because that's where the corporate secrets are.
So are we?
So I'm just
directly
staying
below?
there as like muscle backup right now, unless someone's like, "Hey, I need you for this."
Cool. What were you asking, Frank?
Is the conference room like directly below?
Correct.
How thick is the floor?
Pretty decent size, actually. It's like a solid 10 feet because there's like a ton of stuff that goes there.
Okay, I tap my thing because it goes 5 meters, which is more than 10 feet.
But your thing needs to get all the way to the terminal. Yeah. So it's not like it's right on
Get
the
in that hole.
That's why you need to be in
5
there so you actually
then-
know what's on the other side.
And then the ceiling itself, again, is 20 feet up. So anyway, so you get hoisted up, you get shoved into the hole, you're crawling through the hole a bit. Roll me an intelligence perception check, please. Frank.
Let's see. By the way, it's 16 feet for 5 meters. For people who don't know meters like me. Perception intelligence is 12.
As you're crawling through the hole and you're going up to like that little area where you can either bust through and go all the way over to the terminal or try to hang back from this side and do like the wireless hard line to it, all of a sudden you notice there are sensors on this side of the vent. As a matter of fact, there aren't just sensors on this side of the vent. You notice it from like back here, like, those are sensors. You get a little bit closer to check them out and you realize these are explosive sensors. These are sensors that if they picked up somebody was going to go through them, they would go kaboom. And it's such a tight area, you would have no
You're a little
dodge.
paranoid.
So,
Just gonna rate it. Hey, Constantinia?
Yep.
Were you trying to kill me?
No.
There
This
are.
wouldn't be a very optimal way to do it.
Well, some was. There's explosive sensors up here.
I'm on it.
I'm surprised Sid even knows what explosive sensors are.
I mean, probably said so on the Omni tool.
Fair.
What's this? Oh no!
yeah. So,
I like that Sid is just Googling everything.
but it's like, remember when Google was that thing where you could just like scan stuff and that was supposed to be a big
Exactly.
thing?
It's like you scan the picture of the sensor. It's like Google image reverse. Military grade explosives.
What?
So with these explosives, They're not lined into anything that can be just like, oh, cool, I can hack it from far away. It's not set up through a system, right? It's an individual piece. However, they're actually not very difficult to take down. It's actually just an electronics check to disable them. Because you found them. The danger is finding them. Taking apart.
If you fail, you die.
I can try.
I can tell you, Frank. I can tell you straight out, flat. It's a DC 8.
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
I can probably.
I'm telling you that in case you want to use a party pool of luck.
I can probably die. It's fine.
I'm going to the other side of the conference room for no particular reason.
Yeah.
All right. Electronics check.
Oculus logs into the cameras in the conference room.
What checks would this be? Intelligence?
Yeah. Are you a intelligence or dex? Your call. Are you a 3d6 drop lowest for electronics or no?
No.
Okay. You're not using party pool.
I'll grab the Medigel.
Not in case I have to reroll it.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm fine.
Perfect. So Sid sees the thing, scans it, and was like, "Ow!" Conversation, and then goes and disables the thing. Fun fact: because you disabled it, you can actually remove it. Yep. Yeah. There you go.
Like
Yay, explosion!
Scavenger instincts. It's like I'm terrified of this, but I kind of want it.
Yep. There you go. So you grab the thing, and you're able to hold it. The way it works, the short version, it's 4 pieces to it, and it runs like an X for sensors across. So when you put it in smaller areas, that the lines, the sensors are much, much, much smaller than if you were put into a big area where somebody small can theoretically get around them. So anyways, you go and to remove these things. You're all the way over, pressed against the vent right there, and you're checking. You're like, okay, if you open this vent up, Sid, you're pretty sure you can get through this hole. It'd be a bit of a tight squeeze. You're pretty sure you could. But from where you are, you can reach the terminal. It's one of those things where you tap away for a couple seconds, click a button, and all of a sudden the terminal's display is up on your Omni tool. You can actually see your display, and then you're gonna send that display over to Icolas.
Yep, gonna let him like remote control.
Exactly. So Icolas, all of a sudden you see the display of his terminal coming from her terminal to your face. Ow. Pull my wire.
All right, I'm gonna hack a man. I'm actually just gonna straight up use a point of effort. I'm just gonna defeat security.
Sure, he's gonna burn right through it.
Yeah.
Again, there are 2 forms of security. So the first one is the typical one, the corporate espionage one. So you just
I will hack that one.
Sure.
And then I'll defeat security the second one. So roll for the first one.
Yeah, please.
Unless it goes horribly wrong.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hey!
Nice.
Yay!
It goes extremely well. Almost a critical, right? So you
There's to Sid, there's almost like him humming while he's working through the light network. It's like a baby's toy.
And you just burn processing for the other one?
Yeah, that's the one that's got me slightly worried. And I'll also, if I can, flow that into the actual like hacking of the computer to find stuff.
Sure, of course. So all of a sudden you start to see that ping of high temperatures happening. Like you see a ping of like what is it, an exclamation point inside of a red triangle upside down. For a second, say it, click that on your interface. You see bloop, overheating, and it's like because of the new thing you had set up. You're like vent heat, like click OK to vent heat sort of a thing. Do you click OK? Vent the heat out of the processor.
There's just some poor space rouge who's just getting blasted by hot heat now in space.
So
yeah, our ship just in the middle of nowhere, no one's doing anything, just like heat off the side, makes a bunch of noise.
Goddamn space farts everywhere.
Exactly.
Space is a gassy place. So you pour your way through the processing. So this is what happens. You burn through the concern of it setting off alarms. You hack through the corporate security network and so on and so forth. You have the terminal in front of you. But one of the big things that pop up in front of you is you actually see the first program that pops up before you, the one that's always running, always active, never stopped, is actually a relay. One of the things that you would notice, and quickly analyzing this relay, one of the things that you notice is that all the signals that we had discussed beforehand do get sent to this computer. And then this computer then relays it off to something else. Doing a quick check of the type of code that's sent outwards, you're like, it's very likely this gets this will relay alarms to somebody else's personal device, somebody else's Omni tool. And reading the signature of it, you're like, it does not look like this Omni tool is something that would typically belong to the company. This looks like something else. You know what I mean? You can't, it's like you have a serial number, right? But you can tell by the type of signal this is not in line with the kind of code that you've seen thus far, right? You can try to trace that if you would like to do so. Or we can get the other information first.
I'll trace that.
Sure. Roll me a decryption check.
Also, I just read I've been using native hacker, not defeat security. Defeat security is doors, but they're the same. Aside from defeat security, you can do after a roll. Native hacker, you have to declare. So
okay, cool.
That's fine. I will roll hacker man.
I could just hack a man. Some people can't understand. So you start hacking into this thing, trying to find out where it's going. Unfortunately, you're not successful enough to see exactly which Omni tool it's going to or where the location
is. It on this station?
However, you are able to see that it is going to be a local signal that's bursted outwards, and you are able to tell that it is clearly a military-grade Omni tool. But you can't find out where it is, who it belongs to, etc., etc., etc. So those are the bits that you do get. Going back to the actual terminal itself and just trying to like mine for all of the correct information, you find hidden there. So what it is this computer is completely clean. All the data perfectly links up to all the data that exists out there publicly. However, this also is wirelessly connected to an external hard drive that actually stores all sorts of shadow data. You would use your process burning and all that stuff. You discover this. So accessing this this external hard drive, where it is, the data that you find there is actually encrypted. So you can either try to hack into this thing to get all the data, the other data that's stored there, or you can theoretically find it physically. Because
I was going to say, is it in this office?
It's on the station. You can roll me a decryption check to find out where it is.
I will try and ping it.
Sure.
For sure. I think that sounds like. I think that's going to be a good payday if you bring them back. Hey, here's the evidence. You already know it's good when it stretches the box.
Right?
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
I was like, why never? Yes.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like,
oh, it's so funny.
We want it wide here.
And with that, we take our next break. Sorry about that.
That's like a post-show conversation.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's Wednesday. It's a show conversation.
We're just goofing. Sorry. All right. So
We're not sorry.
sorry, not sorry. Is that a song? Sorry, not sorry.
No, it's just a
I think it's just a saying.
millennial saying.
Oh,
I would
okay.
not be surprised if it was also a song.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, what isn't nowadays, right?
Millennials. Millennials. Ruining jobs. So,
What's a job?
How dare I have 2 jobs? These
oh,
millennials.
millennials.
Oh, we
ruining
have a little
pizza.
ship piece now. That's cool.
So, all right. Let's. My apologies. So, you guys
That's
are
fine.
doing this. You're hacking in. You ping where this external hard drive is, and you actually find out the external hard drive is. It's stowed away over in the top deck area, over by where the what's the word I'm looking for? The docking area is. So the top floor of the facility, it's actually over by the docking area, is where it pings. It's actually literally the docking area that you landed into, because that's where pretty much all ships land. It's literally right there.
Okay, I will say to them that there is the controller of this network has a military-grade Omni tool, not common with the others. They are controlling this. They can be pinged if anything happens. There is an external hard drive in the docking bay that I will now go and get. You are on your own while I do this.
Are you sure you should?
Wait for
do
me.
that? If it's in the docking bay, it could be on a ship.
It is not,
No?
but I will wait for Carmine.
Hackett
If he
is
wishes.
in the area. Do we think this might be somehow connected to that? Or the
Who is Hackett?
Admiral
I know
Hackett?
the name was mentioned, but
Admiral
I-
Hackett
meeting
is
with the
like
California
Alliance top brass.
Top brass.
Cops.
top men. Would I know that?
I mean, it's
I don't think
probably
we
fairly
have-
common knowledge.
It is.
Sufficient evidence to state that now.
Well, that's why it's like.
All I know
sure
is
that-
that we're going to need this external hard drive. Carmine, come meet up with me. You
So-
should
I think we
probably
should leave the
leave.
ship ready.
So just to cover that question, even Sid would know who Admiral Hackett is, because if Sid typed in the Alliance, it'd be like the Alliance military, blah blah blah, blah headed by Admiral Hackett. You know, it's like it's literally the top of the Alliance. Sans, the ambassadors and so on and so forth, and Dina and all that. But so Hackett.
So, I'm sorry, Icolas, repeat. The external hard drive is in the docking bay, but you don't know where it is?
I know where
No,
it is.
You know where it is exactly?
The way you know things and the way I know things are different due to your organic brain.
Well, the way I know things is that I can sneak in and grab things without being noticed. And
It
I
is
want to make sure.
docking bay of a mining planet. I am a cargo robot. I am invisible.
But Carmine isn't. But sure. Continue.
I will keep Carmine on a long leash. But that is
I
not
can
said
hear
to
all this.
Carmine.
I'm
Yeah,
just
send to the
calmly
other two.
walking while all this is happening. 'Cause you don't
When
want to
meet
raise
up,
attention.
Icolas will just turn and walk to the elevator.
Okay.
And then we'll probably say to the girls, you should probably leave.
Yeah.
We'll start extracting.
Okay.
Just pulling her out by her legs.
I'll figure it out.
Extracting.
So you pull Sid out. Sid's in a wonderful mood. Sid has just recently procured a explosive. So, hey, salvage. So,
Is that
no,
Sid
Sid's
in
like,
a good
"Hey, look
mood?
at
Is that Frank in a good mood?
hey,
Frank
so
likes
bad.
the booms.
listen,
Ew, I love explosives.
design your characters to enjoy things you enjoy, so it's easier to roleplay. So my apologies. You as you guys are making your way down, it's not easy to get back down because you used like the harnessing before. Because so the first person to be let down, you help Sid into the harness, strap her in. Sid gets let down, lowered down. Then the harness goes back up, and it goes to Constantinia, who needs to be let down. Constantinia straps the thing on, put the grate back on to get lowered down, and all of a sudden the conference door opens up, and you actually see somebody come walking in. And the person that comes walking in is dressed head to toe in all black military grade armor. As a matter of fact, when I say head, I mean they even have their helmet on with goggle like multi type sensors wearing on their face that could read easily infrared, electromagnetic, so on and so forth. And they happen to have in their hands an assault rifle, Okay, so you can't see their face, you can't see anything. They come walking in and they have an assault rifle in their hands, and they walk in like, "What's this meeting going on in here?"
So,
You're in the harness.
to be clear, I'm in the harness. Yes, where's Sid?
On the ground down below.
With the explosive in her hand.
Unarmed, but yes.
Ah, shit. I'm just gonna take this guy out, aren't I?
So he says, "What's going on in here?" So you guys kind of like look at each other for a second, and Barbara will...
Sid's like about to start babbling techno babble.
I'm gonna let Sid babble for a second.
That's fine. Barbara will speak up and will say, we're having a conference in the ceiling," and then Sid.
It's about the vents in this room.
Well, as you might have heard, we are the scientific team that's going to be scanning the planet. We heard an issue with the air conditioner. Sorry, I'm a little bit of a phobe. I'm not really used to space. We found this. Was someone... What is this?
He looks at it from across the way. You can actually see like the device in his head kind of spin slightly, and he's
Enhance.
like, so it's one of those things where all of a sudden he looks at it and recognizes what it is, and before he responds to you, actually turns back and goes like this for a second. Clearly, he's having a conversation. You can hear very muffled.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hail, Frank. Is that wine?
No, it's...
It looked like water.
Oh. You get it small, so I was like, he's just straight up drinking a bottle of wine. Like,
Yes, because that's what I do.
I was like, isn't it like 2 hours earlier over there? 1 hour earlier over there? I was like, hey.
Yep.
So
Yeah, it's about to click somewhere.
anyways, he says that, does that thing you were saying something, Constantinia?
No, nothing. I'm just taking it in.
Okay. So yep, he does that, has a conversation really quickly, turns back and says, you could all come with me.
Okay. Is this a listening device or?
It's not a listening device.
Okay. And she puts it in her bag.
How high up am I?
So the whole ceiling's 20 feet up. We'll say you've come down 5 feet, so you're about 15 feet off the ground.
Is the door
You can
behind
easily
the
just keep going
dude
down.
open or closed?
It automatically closes,
Good to know.
but it's a sensor, so if you step backwards, it'll open up back up.
Let's say if a body falls
That's-
backwards.
Yeah, and Sid just continues babbling. Yeah, there was weird clanking in the thing, so I sent my... Well, she's taller, she can reach better. And Sid, like, does the... Yeah, kind of short.
I'll be like lowering at this point.
Listen, come with me. I'm just going to bring you to the engineering area. That's where you belong, right? You can have your conference down there. Come on, let's go. Come on. You just need to go to the engineering area.
As I
Sid's already going. It's like, no problem.
Okay. So you're walking with, she's walking with, Barbara's walking with as well?
I'm not walking with. I'm just getting down.
Yep, you're down now. I said Sid's going, Barbara's walking over to where he is. You're down now, you're just removing the harness.
So
And-
I'm just gonna knock him out.
Okay, well, I was going to say, he's going to like, now that, because them two walked over, he was going to go open the door. We'll just walk towards it. And you're going to just charge at him?
I'm not gonna charge. I'm gonna sneakily like walk up to him and then try to choke him out.
Okay, not a problem. So roll me a sneak check for him to not notice that you're trying to do that.
Kill him.
It's,
Kill him.
I will do the sneak check if you want. That's totally fine. I would say it was like
Nice.
a bluff check though. A sneak is better for me. 'Cause I'm not being like overtly like I'm crouching up, sneaking on him. I'm like trying to be casual about it.
It'd be
I'll do sneak. That's
it's
fine.
a sneak charisma, is what it is.
All right, so -2 from that, I think.
Okay, there you go. My apologies, I didn't specifically say that. And I'm trying to read a perception charisma. So we'll see how that goes. So he has no idea what it was that you were doing. So he just yeah, okay, make sure it's all visible. Cool. So you just kind of walking up behind him, and then you try to attack him.
It's gonna auto hit regardless.
Are you killing him or choking him
No, I'm
out?
just gonna choke him
Oh
out.
my god.
Okay, so you automatically hit him because you chose to use your fighter power. Okay, and you can do your so because you're trying to choke him. So more or less the way it works, Aaron, instead of making an attack roll because you're just trying to choke him out as opposed to like literally attack him, you're gonna make a melee check for me.
Okay.
It's a skill check. Okay, and that's gonna be opposed by his melee check. Let me roll that.
Come on, natural ones.
Oh.
Ooh,
Ooh.
so close. So you more or less you come up behind him and you grab him and you start trying to choke him out. Now you know how to choke out a human. It's different than choking out a Taurian. But you know, get the whole like a snake hold going on and choke him out. He's trying to like thrash and pull himself off you. So on his turn, he's able to try to break free. So you guys are going to counter. As he tries to break free, his roll and then you roll yours.
I should have just killed him.
Oh! Oh! I rolled well. Oh, I rolled well.
Friend pool of luck.
Use luck.
You have one left then.
Makes it a roll d3 and drop the lowest one.
Correct. You usually roll 2d6 because we have 3d6. It's the green button.
I know that much.
Okay. Oh, so you go up behind him, you grab him, you get like the perfect hold on him, and you've got him locked in. But this person is very.
I'm also trying to like grab like his like ear comm so he can't report anything.
Of course.
You know.
So it's built into his helmet or whatever. So you grab him, and then he feels the chokehold happening. But this guy, his hand comes up, and he's got a meaty hand, grabs around your wrist. And before he starts pulling, he just like throws an elbow backwards. He like leans one way, swings the other way, throwing your body into his elbow as he throws it backwards. Kind of like loosening your grip enough that he just peels your arm away and like squares himself off. He's got an assault rifle in his hands, which is not useful in melee combat. But he squares himself off against you with the assault rifle between you guys. So now you guys can roll initiative. Oy vey.
Where are tokens to click?
Yep. Are you on which map?
Start.
You can tell that.
Okay, here
You
we go.
DM.
I see it now. Sorry, I was on a different screen. There are your tokens.
I don't have enough health to fight.
Who needs
It's gonna
help
get
when you've
shot
got
and
feet?
Die. First roll and second roll. Take the best. It's a 5.
Okay, awesome. So, ties will go to the PC. So Constantinia does get to go first.
All right.
Luckily, you get to avoid armor, which is annoying for me.
Ugh.
No.
Ooh,
Beautiful.
that's a natty one.
That is a natty one. But we don't really do critical failures here for attack rolls, do we? No, we don't. It's just for our skill checks. So that just means an automatic failure. You absolutely do not hit. Remember, you didn't use your auto hit ability yet this turn, okay? Right?
I didn't. Okay, I wasn't sure. Well, then I will.
Okay, you want
No.
to? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that is so much damage. Jesus Christ. God. Well, armor luckily applies, but god damn it, it's so much damage. So, yeah, he's standing, but ouch. Okay, so you come at him, describe this ferocious attack, because 15 damage is not small.
I knock his assault rifle to the side and just lunge like at his like helmet, like just like grabbing it onto his throat.
Okay, grab it onto his throat, trying to like... Okay,
If I can knock him to the ground, I will. But if he's still up, then he's like up.
Yep. Okay, still currently up at the moment. It's his turn next. So they grab it onto him, trying to choke him or whatever. So obviously he's not going to be able to engage with his assault rifle in his hand, which is obviously the preferred method of handling situations. So instead he's going to have to try to handle this differently. Oh god.
This is that one scene in like any space opera or sci-fi where like they get in a scuffle and the gun gets skidding across the room. This is exactly how you fight, and I find it very funny.
All right, 1 second, and Okay, here we go. So because of the fact that you're like so engaged in melee, even a pistol is not as good here. He holds out his Omni to him. A Omni blade appears up, and he's going to try to like cut up into you. This Omni blade. So making the Omni blade attack.
Oh well.
Oh! Oh God, this guy is just rolling so well against Aaron. Poor Aaron. Oh, okay.
She had her good roll of the
Yeah,
day.
one
I
good
had
roll.
one good roll.
Oh, you're allowed. Remember when you joined and we were like, wow, you're actually
Oh,
good
I
at
got
rolling
three
in
damage.
stars by number. This is interesting.
Yeah, this is funny. Okay, sorry.
Man, his Omni Blade is so good.
Yeah. So it does a whopping 6 points of damage to you, Aaron. What's your DR?
5.
DR is 5?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's an odd number because you have an upgraded armor. So you take a whopping 1 point of damage.
Mhm.
So he pulls out the Omni blade and then comes up and cuts into you. Your armor absorbs most of the damage. It bypasses all of your shields, and you just take 1 point of damage. Ouch. Okay. It is now your turn. It's Sid's turn. Frighteningly lethal.
And so Sid, probably not going to be good in combat here. Is there any way with her engineer Omni tool that she can jam or hack into his headset?
Yes, you can. That's a decryption check. Absolutely, you can do that.
Of course, that's something I don't have a skill in. It's intelligence and go on the reroll.
Okay. Okay, so you're able to hack into the headset enough to more or less access the interface onto your Omni tool. However, you're looking at the thing and you're like, "What is this?" Like, I have no idea how to work my way around this interface. I don't know what's going on. I just want to like make it stop. But
Start hitting buttons.
yeah. So you just you make your turn just trying to get into the thing, and it struggles, and eventually you're able to make the connection, and then you see it, and on your next turn you're probably just gonna be like, like that obnoxious kid at the arcade that just keeps winning. Like, really, how are you doing this? So that brings you back to Constantinia's turn. I don't even know why I'm in this combat. Go ahead, Aaron.
Okay. Well, no. My hands
Have you
are-
seen how she rolling?
Yeah, true. So now I'm going to try to choke him out again. He's hurt. My hands are already around his neck. Hopefully it'll be the easier.
Okay, roll your
There we go.
Oh, thank you.
I'm rolling the triple plus fucking 4.
No, God.
Murder.
He did nothing wrong. He's just doing his job.
He's doing a
His
job.
job is evil.
okay.
Security
So
guard.
you got
He's wearing all black.
You're choking him down. So now he's going to try to break free one more time, but because you've been choking him out for a bit, because of how injured he is, he's going to have a penalty to this roll. So I'm going to roll it one last time, and if he can't beat you, then no question, you just choke him out. So I'm going to give me a -2.
You need me to roll again?
I do, because he's trying to break free against... He's trying to, like, push himself free. You're trying to stop it.
He's done.
Yeah. So more or less, you continue choking this guy out until finally he just passes out unconscious on the ground down below. Okay.
I take the headset off and I toss it to Sid.
Like you peel off the
Yep.
helmet, more or less. Okay. There's a human underneath. Like clearly, this person has worked in service before. He's kind of a meathead. You know what I mean? But you take the helmet off and you toss it to Sid.
Sid grabs it, looks at it. Barbara, we need a helium leak.
What?
Sid looks up at the vent, starts seeing if she can somehow reroute
Wait,
helium.
no, hold on. Helium's
distracted.
poisonous. That's not a good idea.
Yes. And it's our cover.
But it's... Oh, for just him.
Yes.
Oh. I thought you meant the whole facility.
I mean, he's got a bit of a stab wound.
No, he doesn't.
No.
Oh,
She
really?
grabbed him as like choking him out.
Constantina's the one with the stab wound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you were doing stun damage basically.
More or less, yeah. So
Okay.
she's like, "Oh, okay, no, yeah, that can happen. Helium leak. Yeah, no, we actually do have helium in the room for when we doing displays. Over here." And she like go over to like one of the walls, and she like as she waves a hand over the wall, all of a sudden like an interface lights up on the wall, and it's like ding 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 ding. A wall opens up a little bit. You actually see a whole bunch of equipment in there because again, this is the room that they use for giving meetings to people that are investing millions of credits to the company. So they have stuff here, including, containers of helium. So she actually has that and can wheel it out. And she's like, okay, so you're trying to make this look like an accident?
We're trying to make it look like our cover story holds, and that this guy passed out while trying to save us.
Oh. And she looks up like, I don't know how to make an accident. I'm very careful in the lab.
Sid, is it just like a fire extinguisher type container?
Yes, and stuff like that,
I
mean, helium's not really combustible, but yeah.
Yeah, just container.
Yeah.
Takes it, puts it right up to the guy's nose and mouth, and just blasts him with it to just fill his lungs with helium.
Okay.
And then
she watches it, so you're gonna kill him.
No.
Oh, okay.
Enough,
just the poison. Yeah, just the poison. Just you really want the helium poisoning in there. I gotcha.
Enough.
So she's watching this.
I think this should be a first aid roll, Mr. Scott.
Probably
Yeah, that sounds like a good one.
Oh dear.
I think that there's definitely dice involved here.
She's looking at what's it, Constantinia, like, what is going on? But go ahead there.
She wishes she didn't
Do you want me
get
to first
in
aid
this
that?
job.
Yeah.
All right. You're fine. You're fine. He's alive. Barely, but alive.
So you're gonna pump this guy full of helium as much as possible. Get it going, and she's like, okay.
Going to go up the vent. Pump the vent as full as possible.
It's
She'll
20 feet
breathe
up.
it in herself.
Wait, it's 20
So it
feet
makes
up.
it look like the helium leak was coming.
It looks like the
so
helium
just
leak
trace
was coming
amounts
from.
or whatever. Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
I'm gonna put
And
the
then this
harness
guy
on the
saved
dude
us.
Yep.
to make it look like he fell.
And Sade's just gonna essentially spritz the room and the people in the room like really quick with helium. Just here it is. So the plan is helium leak. He saved us. His brain might be a little addled after this, but the plan should work. We should radio in using his headset, asking for assistance.
I think you should do that.
Don't encourage him, Scott. Don't do it.
Two things. One, Frank, brilliant. I love it. Two, I don't think helium would affect a Torian's throat the same way, the same way as it would a human's. They actually use.
I'm not using a voice.
Yeah. No, they do sound differently. And
You're a bird.
And three, she would just look at you. She's like, the whole scenario was like horrifying to her. But then once like Sid starts talking again, it actually breaks the mood for her. Like it's like everything's so serious and so frightening right now that the ridiculousness like is just too funny to her. And
Nobody
so
knew
she
I could
starts
do it.
laughing, but it's just like high pitch, like this really high pitch kind of laughter.
So funny to hear him.
So, and this is like going on for a bit, and she's just kind of like, okay, and you
By the way,
guys,
helium is a laughing gas.
yes, and you guys can start leaving the.
Yeah, so just on his radio, it's like Sid in that high-pitched helium voice is like, "Oh my god, we had a helium leak here." I can't do that voice long; it hurts my throat.
That was a voice.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I thought you were using a voice mod.
No, this is my funny voice. I mean, come on, like, get with it.
Frank, that's really good.
I know, it's amazing.
That's really good. Like, I mean, I honestly thought it was a mod.
Yeah, it's like whoever you sent got up in there and saved us. We need medical assistance now.
I got it. And she like start calling for that to happen. And
Oh
so-
no, like on his headset is what he's calling.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you call for that to the people to.
We should still like leave the room and like seal the door.
Yeah, like it's just act exasperated
Okay.
and just like spills out of the room
So people are going to come into the room to check on things. They're going to have like little masks on their face. It's actually going to be the typical security for the facility, as well as doctors and whatnot on hand to take you out of the room, to vent the room out. They have like a ventilation system, to make sure everything's good. They start doing things like questioning her, like, "Why didn't you go about these normal procedures?" She was like, "I don't know. I was just so taken aback by what was happening. I was scared, like." And then trying to like use her own raw emotion of genuine fear of what just happened.
She's not even lying at this point.
No, she's not.
To play that exactly. So back to the other two. You guys go up to the area. You're making your way to what we were just discussing, and you go to find out exactly where it's pinged. You find the coordinates for where it's pinged, and as I discussed beforehand, it was over in the docking area. So you make your way over to the docking area, and what you find is that ship that's been being loaded this entire time. Outside of the ship. Outside of the ship, you see like literally the last barrel is being loaded up onto it, and there's a person standing there that has no weapons or anything like that. They're actually dressed head to toe in a military black outfit with like these strange goggles that obviously allow them to see throughout different forms of perception. Infrared, electromagnetic, etc., etc. The person, you can tell very quickly, has strapped to their back a sniper rifle. But, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to use it or anything, right? So that person's standing there, and as you guys come walking into the room, they, aren't paying attention to you walking into the room because they're listening to something. Say something back, and then they nod, and they turn to the rest of the workers like, "All right, speed it up, we're getting out of here." Turns to go over to a different area of the docking area, literally goes over to a wall. Funny enough, getting the idea, Icarus looks at, sees, doesn't have an omni tool really, looks at his own interface and sees that where it is that's being pinged and where it is this person walks to happen to be the same area. So it goes over to this wall, once again, waves a hand in front of it, bing, ding, 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 bing, and a little compartment opens up that shows with inside of it a terminal that has a black cube that's on top of the terminal. And the person starts, interfacing with the terminal. Once again, completely.
At this point, I would like to turn on my adrenal pump.
Sure. So what you hear, Icarus, is all of a sudden, and you're familiar with this now, Carmine's just kind of
I know what's happening.
and it's all of a sudden gets the adrenaline pumping through his body. So, do you do anything, the two of you over there, or are you just kind of watching while breathing?
I honestly, I have an idea. Okay, I have an idea. And it would be in tropey today. I want to hack the terminal to explode a bit on him.
like fry the terminal?
Yeah. So it goes and he'll be stunned for a bit.
Okay.
That's my intent.
Overload terminal is the goal here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is definitely an option. Give me 2 seconds to check something.
Probably sabotage the system.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And that's something that exists in the thing. But I thought there was one of those. Maybe a class ability called Overload. So why don't you roll for me a decryption check to make sure that you can tap into the interface from, because you're going to try to do this from a distance, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But I would basically stop and I would ping to Carmine's he's in the way when I do this. Beep, boop.
Right. You'll just get a cold reply back got it.
Okay. So with your decryption check, you try to hack into the terminal wirelessly from afar. However, this terminal is a bit of a closed network, so while you can do things from a distance because of your systems,
not necessarily me.
It wasn't strong enough for you to actually penetrate the terminal itself. The systems. So you can try again, but at this point in time, you're just gonna ding, 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 ching, and you can actually see the fields or Mass Effect barrier that was around the thing. You can actually watch that because it always has a shimmer of blue as it powers down. So that's been removed, and he's ding, 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 ding. And
I am going to walk right up. Just gonna walk right up with Carmine.
Okay.
I'm just following your lead until like something happens.
Until the shit goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of
Yes.
the assumption.
So
And I'm just gonna walk back up and just be like, stand aside.
So pitter pattering on the thing, working through the program or whatever. All of a sudden you say stand aside, and the person stops and looks up at you and they're like, "What?"
Stand aside. I have been ordered to access this terminal.
You have been given no such order. Go back to whatever your duties are.
You're not even gonna let me do a command check?
You can try.
You literally, we built this character in mind. It was like, oh, he could do command checks because he's meant to be places.
My apologies, Ali. Make your command.
And you're like, he's automatically a no.
Yeah, go ahead.
This boy don't know shit.
That was very British. Automatically.
That was deliberate.
Yeah.
I don't actually go more British when I get mad, I think. I guess stream will have to tell me that.
That's okay. Eventually, my Bostonian accent comes out when I'm angry.
Yours does come out when
Yeah,
you get mad.
It's bad. Because I intentionally don't have one.
Nah.
It's effort. So, anyways, so you say, step aside, blah, blah, blah. And because of the check, he says, no. Go back to
Thank
whatever
you.
duties you were supposed to be doing.
There's just like a pause. It's like, I have been ordered to access this terminal. I will wait until you are done. And just stand, like, uncomfortably close.
Who has ordered you to access this terminal? And then, looks over and sees Carmine standing there as well. And...
Barbara gives her regards, and then I'm gonna bop him.
Initiative check. Let me clear initiative. Let me clear it. And go ahead.
I just love the idea of robot punch. I don't even know how that will work. Where's the initiative button?
Top of the sheet.
There it is.
Don't forget to highlight your mini.
I always miss it. I'm slow. I'm a big boy.
Oh, does your
Yeah,
what's it
it's
called
still
work
broken.
yet? Damn it! So is that actually a 10?
Yeah. I think it doesn't even take. Yeah, it's a 12.
It's 12. Okay,
It's
I'll
12.
look at that. Remind me, because this is the last hour. Remind me as soon as this ends, because I don't have to cook dinner between this session and next session. So I'll try to fix that immediately afterwards. Okay, Rick. All right, continuing
Sure.
on. So
So I say Barbara sends her regards,
Yep.
and Carmine.
Yeah, because I recognize, like, I've been ready for this.
Yeah.
I also imagine you gonna go bop him, be like.
Well, actually, what will actually be happening is I go into cargo mode.
Yeah.
Because I'm not.
Okay.
So it's
You
even
gotta
more
hit him
awkward.
like a freight train.
Yeah.
All right, so Carmine.
That's why we had, it was just all a ruse.
What's
All
her
it
face
was.
sends her regards. It's now your turn.
Omni blade out. I'm just gonna
Shank
stab him.
a bitch. All right.
Yeah.
That is not a hit, sir. But don't forget, you can use a party pool of luck after the fact if you'd like.
Yeah, we've got one left, right? Yeah, it's fine. I'll let it slide.
Okay.
How do we only have one left? We had like 6 yesterday.
Oh,
Who's
we
been
also-
drinking it all?
So you that 1 point of shock damage isn't enough to penetrate the armor, the damage reduction. So you hit the guy, it doesn't take any hits.
The shock damage? I thought shock damage went through damage reduction.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I thought that was the big thing.
Does all melee damage go through damage reduction? I honestly can't remember.
I think just the shock damage.
just shock damage.
Yeah,
that takes
like-
the one.
I mean, if
The
this
whole
is just
point
me,
of shock
because I
damage is
don't.
that you still get a little bit damage from like the scuffle.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's more the sort of
damage reduction
winding.
also isn't a core part of
Yeah,
of
I think last season you said shock damage goes because otherwise there's no point with the damage reduction you've added because it's never
like,
gonna
my
go
shotgun
past.
would do 4 shock damage, but it would never do anything.
Yeah.
Even after like putting special talents on it.
I'll read my rules. Honestly, I did them forever ago. We haven't had to worry about this in a while.
I
so
know
I'll
that
read them
feeling
later.
a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, I wrote that. Why did I write that?
I've got it actually written on the website. I just gotta get to it later. All right. So, anyways, fine. You do the 1 point of damage with the shock damage. So you stab. Okay. It's now his turn, and so his response is immediately to like try to step backwards, not like so much to provoke attacks of opportunity or anything like that, Actually, sorry, to step backwards, doing the whole, it's called like evade or escape. So more or less a withdraw from D&D.
He disengages.
Disengage. Thank you. That's the word. Disengage. So he disengages, but at the same
many.
time calls on his headset and says, we've got a problem here. They're trying to take the box. We've got a problem here. They're trying to take the box. Send them out. And just disengages to hang back and hold up against to like where a little bit of cover is within the actual docking area between you and them. That is their whole turn. That brings us to Icarus.
It doesn't say if it takes me an action or whatever to activate affinity. To basically go into cargo mode. It doesn't say anywhere.
It doesn't say that. I
Don't know if this version, if Stars of Number has equivalent bonus actions, but that's what I would assume it would be.
They're called on turn actions, and yes, you would.
Yeah.
I would say you could do that as
Cool.
like a because all of a sudden it's just kind of like.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
It's becoming a buff boy.
Yep. So I would say you can do that. That's fine. On turn action.
And then I'm going to. You said a mass effect field started going up over the box.
Actually went down.
Oh, great! I'm gonna grab the the black box.
Okay.
Just gonna assume yank it off the wall.
You're gonna grab it. It's still so you're gonna go to yank it off the wall. It's still kind of like locked in by way of the terminal. So you're gonna have to make an exert strength check.
Oh, remember when Scott convinced me that this character didn't need exert?
Well, remember
So
when you weren't
wrong.
supposed to rip things off? You're supposed to hack into them.
I want to take this. It's mine.
I like this. This is mine.
But I'm in box mode, so I have a +1 anyway.
Yeah. So you grab the thing and you start pulling, but unfortunately, you're not able to rip it off the wall. Okay.
I'm happy with taking the entire terminal if I must.
One second, Rick, before you get all excited and start killing everything, because that's what you do. Boys be boys, right?
Ooh, more friends.
I like friends. Ooh, shit.
I don't like my friends. My friends suck.
They do suck.
They've got their uses.
But Neil has his skills.
Yeah, pay the bills.
Hey, I made a roll and it didn't work. Oh,
Oh man.
so I'm doing it on my laptop. Okay, there we go. Is this? Oh, same exact roll. That's super convenient.
Wow, you've got a 666 here. Wah, devil alert.
Funny. All right, so
Just
that actually
doesn't bode
means
well.
so Carmine goes first. You have that one person that just ran away and hid behind something. Go ahead.
So like 3 more people show up that all like.
Yeah, they are. Not
Okay.
Wow.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm gonna pull out my shotgun.
Okay.
I'm gonna blap him.
Sure. So
I grow tired of this.
you gonna move up to them, or are you gonna stay where you are? 'Cause currently there's a cover.
Yeah, I'm gonna move so that I negate his cover. I'll try to get any cover from like the hallway or something.
Mhm.
And I'm just gonna blast him.
I'm just gonna blast him.
Yeah, I'm just gonna roll that into a hit because this is, man, the one time I get to do things and it's just garbage.
You've talked.
Hey, it's nearly the end of the session. Maybe we'll have better luck next week.
Yeah, I know. Seriously.
Hopefully.
Jesus Christ, that is a lot of damage. Okay, so that
Shotgun him in the back as he runs away, like a
Yeah.
true soldier.
so that actually your attack completely takes out their Mass Effect fields, the Mass Effect field that they have on them, their shields, and their armor is luckily able to absorb the rest of the attack for them. But holy crap, it was a big one. Just gonna walk around the corner. You're just gonna like you go to shoot, and like literally waiting for you, they hit your gun right as you come around. But you like didn't pull the trigger just in time. You waited to turn back and boom, and they hit them right afterwards. And the shields are completely taken out. After that is going to be that person's turn. Obviously, you weren't engaged in melee because, that'd be stupid. You're holding a two-handed weapon. This person is going to pull out their gun. So leaving their sniper rifle on their back. I keep pressing the dog down button. This person is going to pull out their other weapon that they have with them. It's actually a submachine gun. So they pull this thing out and just start going all up and down your body. So it is not a very pleasant weapon. All right, here we go. Attacking at you, Rick. 17 hits, I believe.
Nuh-uh.
What?
18.
What do you mean 18? How do you have an 18?
18.
That's not cool, man. That's not cool. But
Hey, man, it's the way of the dice.
I go, brrrr, and you're like right there.
He obviously wasn't aiming very well. Look at that. That's not how you shoot a gun.
I just fired a shotgun at him.
Not in space, Scott. Don't even try that.
Have you played Mass Effect and used a submachine gun? They literally go. Brrrr. It's actually one of those things where you have to like lean into it. It's so annoying. So anyways, so does that. Brrrr. And what, like, you see this attack coming, you're like, oh shit, and you like step to the side right as it first says, but literally the person, because they're not that strong and the weapon's super powerful, literally shoots up the wall and like 1 or 2 bullets hit the ceiling before they, pull it back down. All right, immediately after that, you hear Icarus notices coming from on the ship that all the stuff is being loaded onto this whole time that you've been here. You see 2 more bodies similarly dressed coming out. They come rushing out. One of them comes out, immediately presses a couple buttons on their Omni tool, and you see a drone come from the wall on the inside of the ship and start flying forwards at you guys. The other one comes out, he's holding an assault rifle in his hands. He stops like, hey, it's that creepy robot. Oh, I'm going to get that thing. And starts walking forward with his assault rifle towards Icarus. Okay, this is about to become a combat. Combats are exciting, but not the best thing for the end of a session because they drag on for forever. So
this is not a combat that will be rolled up in 9 minutes.
Exactly.
It won't, I know.
And so we're actually going to pull it out here and leave this as a cliffhanger to be continued. Exactly.
Right. Someone remind me that he called me a creepy robot. Got a one-liner ready, but it's gonna be for next week, I guess.
Yeah, I have to remind while we're babbling at the beginning of next session. Okay, so just to sum up exactly where things are for next session, and I'm doing the sum up because I won't lie, I will totally listen to this tomorrow, next week in the morning to remind myself where we are.
You won't do that.
I will.
Future Scott, if you're doing that, you get a gold star from me.
Where are you going to put it?
Well, you're probably in Discord.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I'll remember that. All right, so this is where we are. We have Constantinia and Sid
Drowned a man.
Are downstairs with Barbara. They're inside or just left the conference room where they pretended that a man was the bad end of a little helium leak. Well, there's a little sabotage going on by Sid's being like, I'm gonna kill him. That's cool. And him surviving. And then we have upstairs over in the docking area, Icarus is trying to rip the black box out of the wall at the same time that these bad peoples are moving off of their ship to start pew, 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 attacking all of you. And then finally, Carmine, who's engaged more or less in melee combat, just shy of melee combat, with a sniper. Okay, that's where we have things standing. We will see you all next week. But before we go, Rick, who are you? How can we find you?
Hi, my name is Rick. I do things on the YouTubes, on the Derp Digital channel, in fact. Name's like right there, so you should be able to see it. I currently play Frostpunk on the channel, and I'm going to be uploading some Battletech in like an hour or something. I'm not sure yet, but that's coming up soon because I got a code for that. That's hype. So that's going to be fun. And yeah, I'll probably go back to streaming at some point. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of getting back into it. Awesome. So yeah, Derp Digital and all the things.
Thank you so much. Ollie, who are you? How can we find you?
I'm Ollie. You can find me here. My link is somewhere down below because in an hour, my show is going live where both Scott and Aaron are in it, and there's been a week of setup, and something's gonna happen. Hooey! If you like D&D, a whole lot of role play, and you like my the homebrew Ollie World, then you should definitely watch it. And then I do other stuff basically every other day, and also my Twitter has a bunch of D&D illustrations that I upload more and more frequently and such.
Awesome. Thank you. Frank.
Hi, I'm Frank. I do silly voices. You can find me at Control Alt Frank on Twitch, Twitter, and pretty much anywhere. I don't stream that much or do anything that much anymore. Moving to California soon. Setting up events for maybe the 4th, which is Friday. Stay tuned. Go watch Ollie's show. go watch Derp Digital's videos. Go watch Delric in an hour on Ollie Rant's channel. And sorry, Aaron, you don't really get a shout out.
Go watch Aaron on an hour on Ollie Rand's channel. There you go.
I mean, I
She gets a
guess
shout out too.
Wow.
if she has to get
fine.
one.
Erin, who are you? How can we find you?
I'm Erin. I'm super active on the False Prudence Discord. I hang out here on Wednesdays. I stream with Scott and then Ollie, and then I'm also here on Fridays.
Awesome. And I'm Delric. You can find me by Googling at Delric. You'll always find me in many places, including this
You'll
afternoon.
always find him.
This Wednesday mornings, we have the Mass Effect show. Wednesday afternoons, we have the Yavisir show on Olirant. And Wednesday evenings, we have the Star Wars show over on Lost Initiative. Strange session going on tonight over on the Star Wars one. We're actually doing character generation for the alternative, you'll just tune in to find out. But this Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Lost Initiative Twitch. We're actually doing May the 4th Be With You session, so that'll be a lot of fun. Okay, anyways, that's all the time we have. Let's go eat food before we ruin Ollie's game. Bye!
Bye.